Any public comments? Hearing none. Anybody? How about approving the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Approve the regular minutes from September 1st.
I'll make
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Approve the special minutes, special meeting on September 21st. Is there a motion?
I'll make
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We start off with Jen, Carla. Yeah.
You girls want to slide up here? And can I stand if you want me up here? Okay, so I'm on the Midland Library Board. And do you guys have you seen a copy of this letter? It said it got sent to,
Hope it wasn't me.
oh, I think it was. Jeff Tom Radway. It's on there who she CC'd, the state librarian, Daria. Anyways, as a public library, we are supposed to abide by some rules and regulations that the state has set. And we have been kind of trying to make sure we're on top of things. Some of them are like 15 credit hours from classes that they offer. They're free, and so we have to, not one person from the board can get the 15 credits. It has to be split up, that type of stuff. In here you'll see that they would like to have a public library open 15 hours a week, but it's not mandatory. But that's another thing. We've had the state librarian has just been kind of on us to become compliant with a lot of these rules and regulations. So we are trying.
Amanda. Brittany. Oh.
I think she was going to come down for public.
Oh.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. And so I guess there's a couple things that us as the library board, there's 5 of us, 6 of us,
Send her down
on the
and
board
kinda
that
get through it.
we just need some questions answered from you guys before we can make a decision on what we want to do. But what we're trying to make a decision on is either 1, stay a public library, 2, become a branch of the Phillip Library. Can we close that? It doesn't have to be open.
Should
So,
be.
you know,
I'll shut
I'm
up.
just
So now
curious.
here somebody comes in, I'll sit in your way.
So either stay our own public library, become a branch with the Phillip Library, and then the certain hours and stuff would count towards 1, or 2, become a reading room. And what the reading room does is it just strips us of our title of being a public library. But as far as operating in Midland, we would not make any changes. And I guess what we want to know as a board is if we have to, it doesn't say we have to because it's not mandatory, but I don't think forever see that we would increase our hours to 15 hours a week because we can't get anybody to do that around Midland. Carol doesn't want to do that, but if we do that, you guys, the county pays part of her wages. And so, like, what does your budget look like? Could you increase that wages for the extra 9 hours a week that it would be or not? And then the other thing is if we do become a reading room, or even if we become a branch with Philip, the county takes care of our insurance premium, and would they still do that, being that we aren't independent public library in Midland? So that's the next question, is that would you continue to pay Carol's wages if we become a reading room or become a branch with Philip Library, and would you continue to pay the insurance premium if we become a reading room or a branch with the Philip Public Library? So
And how soon do you need to know?
we
By
have
the
a,
first of the year, I think, is
Yeah.
what it says in the letter.
I think that's what she was aiming, that was her goal.
By December 31st.
Yeah.
We appreciate knowing your future plans. And right now, we're open on Wednesdays and Thursdays during the school year from 2 to 5, and then during the summer times from 9 to 12.
So it's just 6 hours a week we're
So
open.
how many, the wages we're paying her now, how many hours does that allow?
6.
It's only
It's
paying
6
for
hours.
6 hours a week right
Yeah,
now.
and I can give you, I have
Our portion, is that the only money she gets from us for the wages, for the salary?
Yeah.
From
And
us
then-
too, Jen, right?
yeah, she gets, we do pay her some.
So does that boot her up to 15 or not? 15
No,
hours
we
worth?
pay her for her hours, the 6 hours a week there, and
Oh, okay.
mileage, just from the board. But we are supposed to operate as a nonprofit, so every year we have to send in a report, and we have to be within 10% of our budget as far as having a minimal amount of money. If we're over that 10%, then our hands get slapped and we really get looked at, and it's not good sometimes. So we really work hard to stay in that. You know, we don't have a whole lot of fundraisers. We try to keep an operating budget around $2,000 on hand. But as far as what you guys pay her, and I look that up every year, I call Carla, and it's about the same.
Get paid.
She
so
gets
much per
paid,
month and not by the hour.
right. So with wages and the Social Security and the Medicaid added in, it ends up being $5,969 is what you guys pay her roughly every year.
That figures out to, you think, $6 a week about?
Well, that's what, she just works 6 hours a week is what
With
she
their
works.
help.
But then, no, that is just what you guys give her.
Oh.
What we paid her last year was $890 from the board. That's all she got from us, from the board, on top of what the $6,000 that you guys paid her. And then in our insurance.
What was it again, Carla, that we paid her for a year? What would you say again was that number? 5,000?
$5,969
For the year.
for the year.
And you guys give her 800.
$890
Good.
approximately. So that's what she makes in wages. And then, and that does include, the $890 includes mileage. We give her some mileage for driving into town. It's not a whole lot. And then on top of that, the county pays for our insurance premium every year. And it roughly was around, had been like 800 and
Yeah, well, it had been, I think, about between 400 and 500, and last year it went up to.
it went up to like 1,200 because we
Yeah.
had that flood in the basement. Like it was a swimming pool. It was 3.5, 4 feet deep all across the basement. And it was like the perfect storm. So of course insurance has gone up. And my apologies, I was gonna get Lori called and ask her if it was gonna stay at like $1,200 for the year.
Yeah, I don't know.
For, since we turned in that claim or what, and I was gonna have that for you, and I don't have that information for you
I
today.
suppose you had
I could-
furnace down there and stuff that got ruined too? or-
No, we didn't use the furnace, we didn't use anything down there, but, we found out that the piping had gone bad, the plumbing underneath, and, what else, this is 2 years ago, I'm trying to, 2 summers ago.
And was it the toilet?
It was, the toilet had ran over and the piping had gone bad and then it was really cold and maybe some pipes froze. So he came in and looked and we told him, we said, we don't use this basin for anything, but we thought we ought to just turn it in, and then they gave us some money for it. But now we took everything out, which caused us to take everything out. We really cleaned it. We had somebody come in and bleach everything out for mold and mildew to, not grow, and then we run a fan down there and a humidifier down there to keep it dry from that mold and mildew from.
And there's styrofoam.
Styrofoam on the
styrofoam
windows,
on the windows
so that it keeps it
keep it
warm.
warm downstairs.
So not so much air is leaking. So that's,
So what are you looking at, like going to a reading room, or what are
well,
you?
possibly.
you're-
The only, if we do go to a reading room, we will not be able to get grants from the state for public libraries and stuff like that. If we do become a branch, I'm not sure, we'd have to look into that. We don't have anything cataloged. Our librarian doesn't want to get into cataloging anything. She kind of has an idea of where things are at on the shelves. We cater mostly to the grade school kids, the younger kids, and if we catalog things, if that's what Philip wants, that's a whole nother discussion. If they want us to catalog things so that we can do interlibrary exchanges and stuff like that, then I don't know if we would even have a librarian anymore. So, and there's not like some people are jumping to do that, and the hours are kind of hard. I mean, for like me, it's hard to find somebody.
2 afternoons a week.
So,
Yeah.
I guess my question would be, if you did decide to try to meet the 15, I don't know if you are, if you were, would the librarian you have now agree to that?
I don't, we
Increasing
really
to
discussed
15?
that.
Yeah, we haven't. And I don't think it'd be beneficial at all, because, I mean, we don't have that many numbers that come. There's a steady little group, but it would be open for more hours, and I don't think it's gonna really benefit anyone, because they wanted us to be open, but like after 5
They want
hours.
after 5 and
Weekend hours. Who's gonna go?
Yeah.
I mean, there's
There's
19
a lot.
kids in the whole school, so some of them stop by
After
after
school.
school, but there's not kids that stop after school and then, use the computers and, sit and hang out. They get a book, a movie, and then they go.
And then we're trying to, because I'm driving the van, there's a van that runs from Phillip to Midland every day, hauling kids over, and then picks them up and takes them back. And I'm driving, Crystal Dow and I are driving. So on Wednesdays, we drop off at the library, so that it gets the kids into the library, and then they use it and do that too, so. And there is a purpose for it, I think for the library, I think there is a purpose. You do get that small group that comes in, but
So what would it take to branch it together with, are you guys gonna have to make huge changes, or, is there something the guy can do that's not overwhelmingly
Jessica
for
McKinley's
her?
on the board also, and
Right.
she talked to, was it Custer and Hermosa? And talked to them some about how they work everything, because it's Hermosa, a branch of Custer.
yes.
Right, but I think they still have their own, kind of budget to operate with, but yet, do they have a card catalog system for both
Yes, they do.
libraries?
Yep.
So we're just trying to make the best decision.
But
possible.
actually, there isn't a law that you have to be open 15 hours.
No, there isn't.
So, and if you're, I guess you're looking at what you're supplying to your community to be adequate for
For our community.
your community, so.
And that's where a lot of the, I think, negative feedback comes from the state librarian, is that they have rules and regulations that they operate for, but it's mainly for bigger communities to service, and I don't know if they've stepped out of the box to look at the demographics of where we're at.
And,
So-
maybe doing a response letter back on that.
I have.
And
Yeah.
I have.
This has been going on for a couple years,
Yeah.
and we were kind of blindsided about this. We didn't know about the 15 hours and all that, but we were kind of surprised. when
but
we
she's just kind
got
of
the letter.
throwing something at you there because it's not a regulation.
I think we're on her list to just, I feel like we're just on her list. and that's like the most polite way I can say it, for trying to make things, I mean,
Comply
to
with
comply
everything.
with what she wants us, and she wants us to have it done her way. And I have explained, and we have invited them to come out and look, and we have gone the extra mile to be polite about things, and a lot of times we've just been getting slapped in the face, I feel like, so.
Yeah, and she's never been to the library.
No.
And I've been on the phone and talked to her, invited her to come. See
Have you
it.
been in communication with the librarian here?
We have talked some with
Yes,
Sarah.
yes, Sarah. Yep.
Yep, so,
And Sarah's been so helpful. Her and Jessica McKinley got together, was it last week, 2 weeks ago? A couple weeks ago, and did a video about using
The Overdrive
the
Libby
Overdrive.
app.
Yes.
Yeah, the Overdrive Libby app is an online resource where you can read from any device, from your phone, from a Kindle, and we've had immense response from the community because we want everyone in Haakon County to have access to it. It's a program that our library pays for, and it doesn't matter if one person or 100 people use it, it's the same price every year. So this program, we've had, like I said, a huge response. We've had people come in and sign up for library cards, because that's what you need to access it, is the library card with your library card number. So we've had people come in and get cards so that they can access it. We've had people come in with their devices asking for help on, hey, how can I make this app work? All the way, little kids all the way up to senior citizens. So it's been a great response, and it's a great program that's available, so anybody can use not only what we have in our 2 libraries, but what's out there on the online resource. So,
and we do have those forms or if we don't have them, we're gonna have them
Yeah,
there
they're
at our
there.
library to
Yes.
take, fill out, get a card, and, you know, I said I can drop those off once a week, you know, cause I'm over here every Wednesday, I can drop them off, give them to Sarah, she can get the cards made, send them out, or whatever needs to be done, so we have talked to them, it's just, I don't, you know, that step, if we go that way, I guess we'd have to sit down and talk with their board, and I'm not sure what the next step to take, what that would be.
So, and you haven't probably looked into it, but if they are gonna be a branch,
What'd they call it?
does that put you in jeopardy,
Reading.
or are they gonna have to comply, or just with your rules or
So
state
then they can't
rules?
apply for any
so
grants or
if
nothing,
they
right?
become a branch, then I personally would not want to change anything with the Midland Library. I want to let them continue to have the control that they have and to service their community. I would want to be a resource for them here at the Haakon County Public Library. If we can help in any way, and that's still my stance, if I can help them in any way, that's what we're here for. We're here to service the entire county. So, I wouldn't want to, even with the cataloging, even if that is a recommended guideline, I would say, okay,
We're working on
we'll
it.
take that into consideration and we'll work on that and let them continue to do things the way that they're doing. Because we need to take into consideration the fact that Carol has been a servant in this way to the community for a very long time. And I personally feel that we need to have respect for Carol and how Carol would like to continue things until she is no longer able to. And then at that time, we can revisit it. But for now, I think that it would be most beneficial to the Midland Library and the Midland community to keep it as a library so that they can apply for grants, because the grants are what enable us here in Phillip and them in Midland to run like the summer reading program for the kiddos and to be able to do these outreach programs. They need to be able to access grants, so they need to keep their status as a library, in my opinion. So whatever we need to do to help them, I think it's important. So if they become a branch, then I would say we work on the recommended guidelines, but let things be as much as we can so that they can stay their own entity as much as possible. And then we just help where we can. So whatever that looks like, I'm willing to do. So.
It's not changing the budgets or nothing, that's just working together.
Yeah.
I mean, which we've always have, so.
So, but with the fact that you do support us, you know, we only thought fitting that we would come here and, I guess, open your eyes to it and see where you got the letter from the
No.
state library. That we would just, you know, address this, because that way we have some sure answers. And then we have the information we need to move forward and make
Yeah.
decisions.
I'd say move forward and try to check out the Mina branch, and if she's all right with it, I'm all right with it. You guys.
Okay,
Same.
because then that also enables us with the 15 credit hours or whatever, it's been so long since I've looked at that last letter, that we're supposed to have, then I think we can even, what you attend, what Jenna or I attend, all goes towards one. And we don't need to do 30, it would just be 15 total. So that would really help us out too.
Yeah, the other thing that I don't know, you should be able to allow some time for ebooks then, I mean, because your library is basically open anytime then. I mean, 24 hours a day. So there should be some allotment for that too, for that 15
Okay.
hours. If you are involved in that ebook program.
Okay. So I guess if that is, nothing's gonna change with the budget, and what you guys will continue to support if we do move forward with becoming a branch, that would be very beneficial and helpful for us. Cause those grants are, like Jenna runs a summer program, and it's an excellent summer program. She gets people from Myrtle, Hayes, Milesville, sometimes where else, Jenna?
Oh, Philip, White River? This
Yeah,
summer? I
they
mean,
come, and
is
it's
it-
a week-long
is it
program.
online?
And it's, and they come and they do it, and she does a phenomenal job. It brings them to the library, but we have to buy supplies, we buy snacks. Jenna's time and effort needs to be, put some, awarded or given some appreciation for. So whether that be in a gift card or whatever, that grant, most of the time we get about $1,000 in grant money. And a lot of that goes towards that summer reading program. And then last year we had a winter reading program. And
So we started another reading program when school started. I guess more of an incentive challenge.
yeah, and so we have these challenges and stuff that we are trying to get people to come to the library and maybe accept some of these challenges or do these fun things. And so all that grant money goes to paying for stuff like that.
And it's important to get grants because we weren't able to do our soup supper last March because of COVID. We did do a supper for Midland Market this summer, and the community is really supportive, but the grants are important to the
Because
library.
really, the soup supper that we do and the Midland Market, those are our only two fundraisers that we get to have operating money.
So if they were to become a branch, they would still be qualified to apply for any grants, but they'd be able to apply separately from us. So we would still be able to apply, and then they would be able to apply even though they're a branch. It's not that they are us, they're still them, and they're still applying for grants on their own for their programming, and we apply for grants on our own for our programming.
And then I'm assuming we would have separate budgets
Yeah.
and stuff like that too, so.
Does Midland donate anything to the library? The town of Midland?
Yes, the town of Midland does do stuff. They pay for our propane, our electricity,
Our
and our,
phone?
no,
No, not our phone, our internet?
yes, well, that's kind of a touchy subject.
Yeah.
They pay for our utilities, so our trash, our electricity, and our propane, and that adds up to about $4,000 a year that they supply for the library also.
That
So-
helps you too.
That helps a lot too, so that's my next meeting next week, is to talk to them about that, if we do become a branch or reading room or whatnot, so. Yep. So I guess our only bill is we pay for our phone, to have a phone there and an email from Golden West, so that's our only outstanding bill every month that I write a check for. So, other than Carol's wages from the board, so.
So should we just move forward with kind of looking into the branch?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I would.
I think that's your best bet.
Okay, well, thank you for your time.
Let us know how it goes, would you?
Will do.
Okay, we will.
How it works.
I will
Be
do
interested
that.
in know.
You want your letter?
Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
See ya.
Yes.
No, you have to stay the whole meeting now,
Right,
You
yeah.
gotta stop. We locked the door, so you can't
We'll
leave.
be in, thank you. Okay.
Yep. See ya.
Just leave that door open.
Yeah, just,
They know.
Yeah.
leave it open.
Do you have,
I have a library report for you. Are you ready?
We're on the library, so
On the
yeah,
library,
let's
okay.
keep it going.
Okay, so I just have a couple items for you guys to let you know some of the happenings going on at the library. We had a meeting on September 9th of our library board. We went over the guidelines that I had brought before you guys at the last commissioner meeting, and we did add social distancing to the guidelines. Mike had mentioned that at the last commissioner meeting. We thought that that was a good idea, so we added that, and then those are posted. So, library is open, we have kiddos returning, more people coming in. So, preschool story hour will begin again this coming month in the library. It's another outreach program that we're getting going again. Our senior from the high school is coming into the library for school to work. As I mentioned to you, that we're sharing that with the 4-H extension office. She's eager to learn, extremely helpful. We have goals in place and are working towards them as she learns workplace etiquette and responsibilities as an employee. And then the girls talked about Jessica McKinley from the Midland Community Library had contacted me about the Overdrive Libby app. So like I said, that's a free app where you can borrow ebooks, digital audiobooks, etc. Stream them onto your device. All you need to get started is the library card, and then like Mike said, we can access it anywhere, whether the library is open or not, and it gives them access to way more than what we have to offer here and at the Midland Library. We've had a really great response from that. Patrons coming in to get library cards, wanting to know how to use the app, plus the newspaper even had an article about it in last week's edition. So that was great as well. Overall, it's been a great success for our library. Also, our numbers continue to increase of patrons coming in and utilizing our library. Children have returned after school, patrons are using our computers and Wi-Fi, and new patrons are accessing our services. And community outreach programs are continuing to draw patrons as well. All good. Any questions?
I don't think I have so.
No? Okay, that's all
Well,
I
that was a
have.
lot to take in. Yeah. Oh,
Try
yeah.
to keep it short and sweet for you. You guys have a lot of other stuff to get to, so. Okay, and I'll continue to work with the girls at Midland, and if they have any questions or concerns, then we'll keep you apprised of that.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, thank
See
you
ya.
all.
Thanks.
Nancy? Just well bring it with you. Bring the chair with you if you want.
Oh, thank you.
I am here to see if you guys are all okay with having Christmas trees again this year.
She brought it up to me and I said people will probably be disappointed if the trees didn't come up.
I just wanted everybody's okay, then I'll move forward. And Kim said she would like to learn it as well, so if I ever don't want to do it, then she said she'd take it over. So,
Good.
all right, well,
Well, we
we'll
appreciate you offering to do it again this year.
oh yes, I'll do it as long as I can.
Good.
Yeah, it's always been fun to see all the trees.
Yeah. All right, well, that's all I want. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nancy.
See
Get
you.
at it.
Thank you.
Good day.
Tom? Oh, I was gonna tell you guys, I read on the email that we were supposed to do this raffle, approve this raffle, and that did you get that?
I just need official approval.
Motion.
in the book, so, yeah.
Okay, 'cause I was gonna call in and just tell you it's fine with me, but I
It's
didn't get
actually
it.
already over and done with the chicken thing, but,
I
I
just,
just have to have it on record, so if you wanna do it now, somebody can make a motion.
I'll make a motion, to approve the raffle for
Is that
Heidi Burns.
Heidi, yeah.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Gary made the motion and Steve seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Well, we have a sheriff here. Why'd you bring a chair up and just leave it? Thank you. What do you say, Fred?
Well, I wanna just make sure that, you guys are gonna do the second reading on that, road closure thing that we got, so we can get that moving forward. And I wasn't here when you guys had commissioners meeting, I think it was 2 months ago now, but, it kinda suggested that maybe we consider putting a burn ban in place, just for the time being, because I don't know what to expect. Stephanie, did you ever write a ordinance for right of ways?
We follow the state
People that
mandate.
stay over in?
It's already in place.
It is.
Oh, you do?
Whenever it hits whatever level. Higher.
I've got a copy of it.
Yeah. I've got one too, but it's in the pile.
There you go.
And then overnight staying in the right of ways, have you guys seen this? For whatever reason, I must have missed that. If you guys would take a look at it and consider that. You know, I guess what I'm considering in this is, you know, people that we don't necessarily want to be here for overnight stays. And they've been looking over the last couple of years, trying to find a place where they can set up camp. And I certainly don't want to do it in the right way, if we can help it.
We have a first reading on here.
Fantastic. Thank you.
As far as the burn ban, Fred, the one we have is in place, so that, you know, if it has to hit the, I don't know what it is, extreme or something.
You know, I guess, yeah, you kind of know what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
You know, and just,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know what to expect, and I'm hoping for the best, and just don't really think we need some open fires out there.
Right.
So, you guys already have something in place based on what is set up by, is that state? So I guess we can go with that, so.
But, I mean, if we get 2 inches of snow, then it's, you know, they can burn then, so.
Okay.
It follows the national grasslands fire index level, I guess.
Okay.
Like when it hits the high or extreme or whatever, one of those two triggers it.
You know, just, if they do find a place
Do
to
we have
camp out
to-
up here, I just,
Introduce this as a
I
resolution.
think that would just give
Yeah.
us more tools
First
that we could
reading.
use to
First
try
reading.
to keep the
So
county
it'll
safe
be
in
next
some
month.
respects, so.
Second.
But, you know, and we can address it later, no problem, I don't know.
I agree.
Um,
But, you know, for the bad thing about, well, it's not just that, but like, people have been throwing shit in the dumps for 6 months now and haven't been able to burn it. So if you put a permanent burn ban on it or whatever, then it restricts them too, but.
I understand.
It even come up when we talked about it, you brought it up about you couldn't brand calves with an open fire. You know, if we,
I think there's an exception for that, ain't there?
You know, I imagine you guys could probably
Well-
write whatever you guys, however you wanna write it, probably has to follow some guidelines. TransCanada's got some COVID running through the rink, so, they've been putting it off day to day. Right now, their associates started 2 weeks ago, and they're ready to go. So, whenever they pull the plug on their COVID issues, then, right now it's looking like Friday or maybe Saturday before they get going, but they're ready to go. So, we haven't heard Carla from the Peace Fund or TransCanada. So I got some money that I'm asking for from the Peace Fund and also from TransCanada themselves, and we're just kinda waiting to hear back from that, so. So I guess that's about all I got.
You haven't heard nothing from them,
Who's that?
peace funds or?
Well, no, Amanda and Carla's, I wrote a list, the figures, they had submitted it, so they'll probably hear before I do. The state actually called me and wants clarification on a few things, so I know they're working on it. And then when the state gets done with it, they got 20 days, and TC Energy's got 20 days for pre-approval stuff. And then we go from there, so should be coming in before too long, you know, at least an answer. You guys got anything for me?
I don't think so.
Well, thing I kinda wanna talk to you guys about just for a minute before I take off. I know that, you know, with the new state attorney coming in and Chip being our guy. I've had a couple conversations with Chip, you know, they've been positive, I'm kinda looking forward to that. However, there's a little bit of a question whether he's gonna be here when it all starts and takes over. And, I've talked to Tom, I've talked to Mike a little bit about, who my first vote would go for if you guys decide that you need to put somebody in here. That's gonna be Cheryl Bogue up north. I know that Marty Jackley's kind of put an interest into the county as well. And, I don't think he'd do a lot better than Marty. However, Cheryl will still have to be my horse in the race if you guys get to that point. I got a lot of reasons why, so. So if you're interested, you know where I'm at. If we get to that point. But I think positive things are coming from Chip. You know, he's got his idea how he wants to do things, and so far it's all been good. So, you know, I don't know if he's planning on, you know, jumping in with both feet or not. So that's all I got. You guys got anything?
No.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Well,
Brittany brought down a picture of the wellhead.
Yeah, she just said that, this is the leak on the well casing. They're looking for a contractor to come and see the damages, and just wanted to make sure that you guys realize that this is the east west for the county shop. But there might be somebody coming to look tomorrow, but they're having trouble finding somebody to fix it. And I think they're worried about the expense.
Right. As far as I know, we've never paid anything for heating our shop. 40 years.
Yeah, so.
And that was what she said, that most of the people that use it are outside of the city limits. I thought there was a lot of businesses that use it too.
No, that's the school one.
Oh, that's right.
She said only a pork shop, the fish hatchery, the golf course, the county shop, and then it goes into the ditch somewhere out there.
Right, but everybody that's got cows, their tanks freeze up, come in and get hot water to thaw out their tanks every winter. Just a good source of.
So all the businesses in town are using the schools well.
Yeah, right.
I forgot about
Not all of them,
A lot of
a
them.
dozen of them.
the ones that have the hot water heaters.
that's
But she
cool.
said they were gonna look at the cost wise, whether it would be better to fix it, cap it off, and that's why she wanted you guys to be aware that.
If we blame it on COVID, we should be able to get some relief
I
out of
mean,
it. Christie's trying to get rid of 125 million.
yeah.
If it's just up there on the head, it just wouldn't be too bad of a fix.
Last I heard, they were talking it might be the whole casing.
Oh, well then, yeah, then that's a whole different,
Still cheaper than digging a well.
yeah.
But
But that was some of the issues that we had up there in school, was maintenance up there.
oh,
And I had an engineering company come in and look at that. And fortunately, they didn't have as big issues as they thought up there. They just had to fix some of the wellheads.
oh, some of the valving and stuff.
Suppose in the beginning, the county let them put the hole there, and there was a dam there, like for their water source.
Right.
Yeah, it used to be the city's drinking water source.
Yeah. Well, wanna go to Stephanie, or you have something else, Carla? I know, Stephanie.
Alrighty, so this agenda item, I sent an email out to the commission regarding that. I assume everyone got that? Any questions?
Is there? This is for the ordinance, right? Or what is
No,
this?
my state's attorney report.
Oh. I don't.
Does that still mean we can't get a list of the open, what's an open document, what the docket is? I mean, how many cases you have open?
I submitted that to the
I
auditor's
didn't have
office.
it, I didn't wanna,
And
until you
that's
said.
available at the clerk's office at any time. And even this is already changed because I add to it and delete from it on a daily basis, so that's already updated, but the clerk would have the most recent list.
How long have some of these these been open? A
Um,
year, 2 years, 6 months, a
Yeah.
month?
Yeah, we've got some of everything in there. Mhm. Most of them, less than a year. I'd say the majority less than 6 months. And there's some not on here that are within the last week. Abuse and neglect cases, there's statutory requirements on how long those have to last, particularly if the Indian Child Welfare Act is involved. So those just take longer. And some of them, investigation was ongoing for over a year before I could even charge it out, so.
I guess I was just kinda curious on it, where 3 months we'll be looking at getting a new state's attorney, and how much of a backlog we'd have, and you don't have a clue on
There's not a backlog, it would just be the standard docket, whatever's open on January 1.
that. 13 cases, not an over a lot, not an over.
I mean, it's more than 13 cases, but,
Well, because, yeah, some of them are double, 2 files, 3 and 4 files, yeah,
mhm.
okay.
And there's more cases since this, but this is pretty standard for my docket, yep.
What else you got for us? Anything good?
I drafted the ordinances that are on for reading.
Look good?
Yeah.
Got it.
Is there some, I was just curious, because I don't know the law by far, but like, is there any state law saying you can't camp in the road ditch? I mean, I don't know if there was anything like that part of it. Is there any?
Like on state highways?
Yeah.
I don't think you're supposed to. But I don't know if there's a law.
No.
No, there's nothing on there.
I mean, you know, camping is a term that's up for interpretation. What Fred originally asked me for was an overnight parking ordinance. But even then, it's not illegal to park alongside the road. But I drafted it in terms of lodging because the biggest concern is that someone who pulls over because they're drowsy or has a vehicle breakdown of some kind, I still want law enforcement to have the discretion, and obviously the prosecutor is gonna have discretion, but to determine why they're pulled over. But it's not illegal just to be pulled over alongside the road or in the ditch, no.
I've used that myself overnight,
Oh, yeah, too.
and everybody was happy I was overnight.
Yeah, so
It looks pretty straightforward. You've got written in here for 3 consecutive days, which is plenty, I would think. If there's something wrong, if they're there for over 3 days.
yeah, and I also put in there, or any place within 2 miles, in case, you know, some people would try and work an ordinance by just pulling down
Moving.
the road,
Right.
so.
Yeah,
On that topic, Fred, I didn't ask him that, they're gonna start, are they starting to bore or are they starting to trench? I mean, I don't know that much.
My understanding is no boring until January.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I called Trevor because a couple guys, the pipeline was wanting to lock up some land to dispose of material. And so far that hasn't come to fruition, so I called Trevor and he talked to him. His response back to me was that they were gonna put it back in the hole. I thought about that and I said, well, if they put a pipe in the hole, how's the dirt gonna go in the hole? So he was gonna get back to me on that one.
Okay.
But,
Well-
if it was trenching, yeah, but, and prior to the whole thing, when the two landowners, I called down to the DNR and the pipeline hadn't contacted them yet, so they were just trying to get ahead of the game, so they didn't, the material they're using and yada yada, that there's a lot to be ironed out yet before boring happens. But January, well, there's a timeline. My rationale for talking to them was if they're gonna put that material in our county, is it a good or bad deal? Like, is your farm ground usable, not usable? Don't know, but I'd kinda like to know.
Which I might as well, Gary had called me yesterday about, something that was brought up in 2018, regarding whether or not the county would want a bond on the workforce camp. And, neither Gary or I even recalled why we would have wanted that, because the workforce camp is on private property. And the only close county property is the actual road, which is already bonded under the Hall Road Agreement. So, I wasn't quite sure, and I called Trevor, and he wasn't sure either why we would need it, but he said it was offered to Harding, so I thought I'd offer it to Haakon. And so then I called Harding, and I said, is the workforce camp on county property in Harding County? And they said no, but there is fairly close, not adjacent, but very near proximity, Harding County owned land. So that's pretty much why they had asked for it. Basically, if a fire broke out and it traversed onto the county property, or they said, I guess, if a tornado hit and debris flew.
I believe that was our fear when we did it, or when we was talking about doing it.
Yeah, so, I mean, if they're offering it to us, that's fine. This is just paperwork of what the bond would be to Haakon County. But if there's no county property that's anywhere near, all it would be protecting is county property that a fire moved to or debris flew onto. And if we don't have, besides the road that already has a bond, I don't know if it would be necessary, but if you guys wanna do it, it's fine.
What'd they bond theirs for?
1.5 million.
And Gary thought maybe the closest county property would be the county shop property to the workforce camp.
It's what, a mile and a half, probably? The lake?
Northeast, so
Yeah.
not much chance of wind blowing.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessary really, but whatever you guys think, but I don't know that we'd need it.
I know at the time that was the fear, that if a tornado went through there, scattered all them campers all over the county, the country.
But it would only protect the county, not private property.
Because the county has to end up cleaning it all up, is our fear.
So, is that a possibility that if the workforce camp trailers were flung onto private property, the county would clean it up?
I don't know.
God.
If you want, I could, look into that a little bit more and see, but I mean, unless you envision the county taking action to clean that up,
Well, somebody will have to clean it up.
I would think that they would, that the company would go get their
Yeah,
workforce
probably.
camps.
And their insurance on their stuff too, I would think.
But I'm willing to do any legwork for more information, and if they offer it, it's fine, there's no catch.
I don't know. It makes no difference to me, I guess. What do you think? I don't even remember talking about it. I mean, we must have, but I forgot about it.
I remember talking about something, but
I was able to find some very brief mention in minutes, like, I think maybe that Trevor presented about something else and then brought that up or something, but there was not
I don't know if it was
lengthy
Trevor, was
discussion.
it?
I think it was,
How many years ago?
like 2018.
In 18, it was, brought up, yeah. Trevor was here in August, and he brought the Harding County example and left it here for us to look at it. We were interested. But 2018 was when it was presented. I don't remember who actually presented it to.
I think when we were on the deal with Robert.
one thing nice about the community is if there's something like that, usually everybody just cleans it up and don't worry about who pays for it so much. That's the best part about a small community.
Well, with what Stephanie said, and you guys got the insurance and all, I suppose, just let it go.
I think so.
That's just my thought.
Unless for some reason you think it should be different.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
We could always revisit and ask for it later. Someone change their mind.
If it was close, if it was right next to the county shop, that might be different, but.
See how good our insurance is, huh?
Do we,
Maybe the tornado will
do we
take all
need a
his tires.
motion, do we need a motion on this overnight lodging then?
You'll have to approve it for first reading.
So. I think it looks fine, wording nicely. You think, you guys read it, Tom?
Yeah, I read it, yeah.
And I ran it by 2 additional state's attorneys who may even adopt it in their counties, but they also thought it looked good.
Are we ready for a motion or no? On this, Tom, do you? On this ordinance?
What number you at?
It'd be 3 under items for action.
Yeah, number 3.
First reading of the ordinance, 2020-02, restriction on overnight lodging. There be a motion.
I so move.
Motion, is there a second? Second. Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
That does not be read, Carla.
Pardon?
That does not be read.
No, the title does, I believe, but I usually just read the whole thing unless it's really long. And all it said is, ordinance 2020-02, restriction on overnight lodging and interference with the public right of way and penalties for violation thereof. No person shall use a vehicle or recreational vehicle for overnight lodging on a public right-of-way for a period in excess of 24 hours at the same location or within a 2-mile radius of the same location. No person shall park a vehicle in a manner which interferes with use of the right-of-way or the safe flow of traffic or obstructs the view of other drivers. A vehicle parked upon a public right-of-way in violation of this ordinance for 3 consecutive days after being marked with a warning shall be deemed abandoned and shall be subject to all existing remedies for removal of an abandoned vehicle in the public right-of-way. A violation of this ordinance by any person shall be subject to a fine of up to $500 or such other penalty as may be allowed for Class 2 misdemeanors. Any person who violates the ordinance herein shall be further required to repay Haakon County all costs associated with towing, storage, or any other cost associated with the enforcement, apprehension, and prosecution of the overnight parking violation or other interference with the public right-of-way.
Oh, yeah.
Then we need a motion to publish it, and then a motion to
It's already made.
Yeah, we had a motion from Gary and
I'm sorry.
a seconded by
Okay,
Steve.
to do the first reading.
Yes.
Yeah,
Does that
correct.
include publishing?
We try to go by the book, so try and keep us on the book.
And then also it includes, the second reading at the next meeting.
All right, second reading of the declaration to road closures. Be the second reading, is there a motion on the second reading?
I'll make a motion.
Huh. Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded on the second reading. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Well, sheriff will be a little at ease. You know, thanks for the effort.
You're welcome. I have to meet with some attorneys on tomorrow's docket yet this afternoon, so I will be available by my cell phone or my office if you have questions. Otherwise, ahead.
Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
We'll see you.
Oh, Stephanie, congratulations.
Thank you.
So we did this one.
Let's get this one up here.
Wanna keep picking them off, Carlo? Like, do you have a
Did this one.
tuck point and review thing?
Right.
Does that guy come
Kim-
in or?
Well, I don't know, Kim was gonna come in with Nancy,
Oh,
but, yeah, would you please, but she has visited with,
Librarian.
usually when I come, they're up on the level and I don't talk to them unless they call me and have me come down, but she usually talks to them in the morning, so,
I didn't feel like hollering up at the boss.
yeah.
Oh,
So what are you looking at doing with that surplus computer of the treasurer's office?
I
Gonna
don't,
work for anybody
I
in
don't know,
place?
I don't think anybody's even thought about it really, what to do with it. As far as I know, it's a working computer, but that's correct.
So, but if we surplus it, we've got to surplus it someplace, right?
Either
mean,
get
but
rid
if
of
we
it or, yeah, go somewhere with it, or, I don't know if the library can use it, or if the Midland Library can use it, or, you know, whatever you guys.
So if we surplus it though, what are we normally supposed to go, like, to the different department if we surplus it out of that department?
Yeah.
But if we're not gonna do that,
I think if you start off, she can decide what you like.
if you can just surplus it out of hers and then we can decide what to do with it, it'd still be our property, it's just where we go to from there.
Yeah, it's just that she isn't gonna have it in use in her office.
Hey, come on up in the hot seat.
She likes to be camping.
Oh, did the fellow outside talk to you, the tuck pointer?
Yes. They said they have about 2 weeks left.
When they gonna start?
They've been working pretty hard on it.
Yeah.
They're kind of short crew this week, but they've had a lot of more people here the last couple of weeks. Things are going fast, I think.
The south, is it, like I looked around and like this side's done, is that correct?
This side is done. That's what they wanted you guys to all look at it and see if they needed to go back over it before they took their lift home.
The little deal, that piece that's gone out of the clear up on top, they can't fix that anyway.
It's concrete with Haakon.
Between Haakon County up there, there's a
Right
piece
in
of
the center.
concrete broke out.
I guess I never noticed that.
I didn't know
I
if they
can
could
sure
patch that.
ask the boss.
I don't know if they hung a light there sometime or what, but like looks like a piece of concrete.
Seems like there was at one time.
They took those lights out on each side, the ones that just kind of hang in front of the door. Is that what you're talking about?
No,
It's
this
way
is-
up on top?
Yeah.
Probably, no, it wouldn't be that.
Very top of the building. It says Haakon County, whatever.
Was there a light there?
I don't remember.
I don't know what it was.
Something was there at one time. You could see the hole.
Yeah.
Or something was
Something
there.
through there.
Well, I'm sure they could bud the hole shut. Which holes were it?
Yeah, because we have Blair's come and get that old hydrant out of this side, and they are gonna fill that in.
They said there was some 2 holes here too, as you come out. They asked me what they were for. I said, I don't think they were used for anything, so they were gonna fill those in too. I said, I don't know if a flag hung up there at one time.
Well, if you don't know, fill them. You can always re-drill them, I guess.
There's a question from that guy too about there's brick gone from the doghouse on top. I don't know, brick or bricks, and kinda just talking with the 2 guys, well, they're here, they just will fix it.
Yeah.
You know, we don't, didn't holler up to him, you know, I'm not gonna do that.
Okay.
Sound right?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell him to go ahead and say, tell him to go ahead and replace them.
Okay.
And
Now,
I
where's
think-
this at? Up
He called it on the doghouse. Must be on clear on the roof.
Get up on the roof.
Elevator shaft.
Yep.
Come out on the roof.
Okay. You wanted to go ahead and fix that too? Okay.
Oh, you don't know how to get up there?
Oh, I know how to get up there.
There you
I've
go.
only been up there one time, but I didn't know what you were talking about when you called it the doghouse. Okay.
We call the doghouse when it's out with the dog.
She's got one.
The helper called it the penthouse.
Right.
But yeah, you might ask them if they can fill that hole between Haakon County too. I don't know, especially while they're there.
I think where you need it, where the name is on the.
I didn't see it.
building,
Didn't look.
it's, in the 3-corner
Yeah.
broken out.
Broken out piece there.
It's not very thick. you know, it's, I don't know what caused it, but
Okay.
it almost looks like there was something plumb through there. I don't know if that water got in there and caused it to pop that loose or what.
Okay. I will contact them.
Yeah, and they're kind of, not right there, but they're up there with their scaffolding. Matter of fact, I was kind of thinking about it, and if you leaned over the top, I think you could just about reach it.
Kim could probably fix it. No problem.
Make sure you wear your safety harness though.
Yeah.
Right.
I said I would climb up there and if I had to, help them wash the windows. Right? I told them that. I told you. I wouldn't mind that.
You told me that you'd give me a ride up there.
Really?
It sounded like they're gonna do the windows though too, didn't it? That's what that one guy said.
I don't know.
I think they're done.
Oh.
Yeah, they were.
I don't know. I don't think they did this, but I think yours are done. These ones over here are done.
Well, they haven't done the concrete for the stone yet.
They're like.
They just did the bricks.
I think that they're doing the concrete right now. This morning they were working on some right outside the door and stuff. The
Yeah.
bricks, they're done, I think.
Right. Yeah, and so they're doing the stone now. Because they're cutting out all the grooves on all the stone that we're doing yet.
Yeah, everything should be done except for these two little in the entrances here. That's what that lift's here for. They said they couldn't get into it with their little.
Oh, that's why they brought
Yeah.
this other lift, yeah. Any custodial concerns you got? Anything for custodial?
The only thing I had was that thing I showed you this morning.
Oh, the hedge.
Yeah.
Told her she wants to get rid of it, spray her down and let her die
Right by
out.
the wall there, I had to cut it off because they couldn't get back in behind there, and they said that it was going to eventually cause problems because
Oh, sure.
it's too close to the foundation then.
Well, while you're here, maybe we should do the shed project. What do we want to do on that? Do we want to just dig that out for this year, try to get our drainage just going around?
The shed is next year, right? Is that right, or is
It's
it
right
now?
on this, right here in the agenda right now.
But we did once, then we changed our minds, and then maybe just get the drainage figured out for now, and that'll be a good next year project.
You talk about what about the
Well, if we,
intake pipe that you're talking about for the,
well, that was all part of when we went out and looked at it the last time. If we dug all that out, so the water run away instead of running to it, then we could probably get by this year, just leaving everything the way it was. But we have to dig that down about that far, then just pull the shed out.
I think we should at least do that much.
You just leave the
Well,
shed
we
there
have
for now, or
at least that much, I would say. We got water running into the,
At least do the dirt work, I think, because you don't want to go through all winter and spring next spring with it, probably like that. Deal with it again, I don't know. At least,
then again, getting the snow blower out is almost impossible the way the shed's sitting now. Unless you shovel it out, isn't that right, Nick?
I had to shovel it out last year, but that wind was weird too. Though. It was worse. That one time was worse than it's ever been.
If you get the ground correct, then where do you put the shed? Just leave it?
Just slide it out.
I mean, does it have to be removed to get the ground like it should be?
No, because it's on concrete right now. We're just gonna move it partially over on where we dig out the dirt.
Who's gonna do it?
Well, that's the next thing. Are we gonna have the county guys, or do we wanna get Gibson to do it? And then bring a little rock in there? County guys are probably pretty busy with the help they've got. So we wanna get a bid from Gibson.
Yeah, or just get bids from whoever. Yeah,
Who was gonna do that?
Oh, yeah,
That was-
Wayne Schultz.
yeah.
Well, no, you're gonna need a backhoe or something to dig this out. He doesn't have a backhoe. You're not gonna do it with anything smaller. Really, a backhoe's the way to do it. Because you've gotta dig them out at least a foot deep. The area just about half the size of this room.
Dig it with a skid loader, couldn't you?
Well, you could, but it'd be easier with a backhoe.
I would say take bids and whoever wants to put the bid in, you know, yeah. There's several people that could do it. What's his name over at Kadoka? What's his name over there? Collier?
Peters.
Huh?
Collar or Peters over there.
McCord.
McQuirk, yeah.
So you want me to get bids from all these guys?
Just have it published for bids. I'll make a motion to do that.
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to take bids on our landscaping project. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And that goes, when you do the dirt work, how's it come out to where our problem is there, where it gets in that pipe? You know, like, is it completely diverted away from that?
That's what it looked like, didn't it, when we looked at it? Well, went down and looked at it that day.
If he needs to raise the pipe, right, and then put the dirt in, and that funnels the water away.
No, I just take the dirt down to match it and tip the cement down a little bit so it runs away from it.
You don't need to extend it.
I don't think so. I think that's why we decided to change doing it that way instead of raising it and then have
Oh, yeah.
it still higher than the building,
Yeah.
I think.
And then just remember there is a couple sprinkler heads there
I think it's
that have to be
scary when
careful
they do it,
when they're
yeah.
digging out there.
However you want to do it, don't matter.
I
Yeah,
did
me
talk
neither.
to, he said when he comes to shut the sprinklers off, he'll take a look at it, he said.
I think we can just abandon those, having put a plug in them. Because we're gonna go out that way with the shed anyway, so we'll be right over the top of it with the sheds and just have them plug them. Take the sprinkler heads out.
Okay, I've looked through my paperwork,
Right.
I haven't found the map of them. I've just seen a bill of how much it costs, but I don't see a map.
Nick, I could
So
mention
I'm
it to Jerry
guessing
and
he
see if
has
they
the
would
map
have
of
time to
them?
do it.
Did he
They're
bill
pretty
us
busy,
for
I would
copies?
just.
No.
I don't,
No, so there probably never was a map.
Yeah.
so.
I'm gonna guess there was never a map.
Okay. Okay.
Because he wasn't even sure what went where,
Okay.
as far as size of pipe and stuff there when I talked to him about it,
Okay.
so.
Alright.
Perfect.
Hey,
Thanks, Kim.
Thanks, Kim.
Well, wanna come down?
Certainly. I didn't know. Yeah, Bruce Wilsey with Bros Engineering, as your bridge inspector this year, here to present by our terms of our contract with DOT, we're now required to meet with you folks at our completion of our work. So I guess, I assume we're on the agenda. I don't have a whole lot to talk about. I did prepare a little kind of a summary of our findings. Just basically what I'm calling significant findings. Probably not a lot of new information here. What I could tell, the majority of our trouble bridges, if you will, have been addressed at some point in the big grant funding program. If you don't mind, we could take a couple minutes and I'll step through some of them just so maybe I can get a better feel for what you folks are thinking in terms of long-term ideas or solutions. So, if you don't mind, we'll go ahead and start on the first page with pictures. This is just one of your timber bridges. It's looks like we've been awarded a 2020 PE grant to begin the replacement process. I'm putting it in here because yes, the timber's still decaying and it's still having to come apart. But we didn't feel the need to lower load ratings or anything on any of your structures due to any advancing decay that we found on that.
Bridge.
Says it's on Grindstone Road.
We do have a map if you want to see.
This one here, isn't it?
Yeah, but Grindstone map's got, Grindstone Road's got several, but most of the concrete.
Yeah, I'm trying to think where the wood one was. I don't know where the wood one was.
Probably the one which one's the nice one?
And you're certainly welcome to keep this map if there's any.
This has got to be up there by McDaniel's. It goes north. It goes north. Yeah.
Is that Grindstone Road turn and go north there?
No.
2417.
But that's the only one that's got wood bridges.
It's right here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
by
that's
by
it.
Fred McDaniel's.
On Grindstone.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
I helped
go
redeck
around
that bridge.
What's that?
I said I helped redeck that bridge 20,
Oh, yeah?
20 years ago.
Well, I had to go around that, was
We
that,
should have put some beams on it like that.
Right. It's quite a project just putting the new top on it.
Save him a beam.
Yeah, there you go.
Us bridge inspectors hate timber bridges, by the way, because you just never know what you're gonna run into. Moving on to the next one, it's another timber bridge, similar problems, only this one had, showed the two pictures of the very cracked beams. This is why we're replacing stuff, because it looks like it had taken some pretty heavy loads on this one. You know, those were relatively recent
Yeah,
cracks.
those guys
Couple.
on that 10-mile road, they always overload everything.
96,
I don't cross.
just for clarity,
I'm before it.
that would be this one right here.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yep, I see it.
By Mary Slavics. Mary.
It's another one of your PE grant ones. Of course, the next one then, that's 428468, that's the one on the east side of Midland on Main Street. I have to include this in our summary just because, you know, it's still there. I don't think we are intending to do anything with that for any time soon, I presume. I guess I want to make the statement that structurally that thing is still fairly sound. It's got some stuff going on with it. There's some spalling, and these pictures are not what you're seeing here and what you might see in the reports. They're not significant in a way that would affect its structural capacities, okay? That bridge is functionally obsolete in the sense it's narrow, et cetera, because of its age. And yes, we have I believe, do we have that load rated? I don't remember. But I think we can carry that thing for another number of years. We're going to continue to monitor it, make sure that the concrete doesn't start to deteriorate quickly. Concrete, what our experience is, that concrete will get to a point on any structure where once it starts to get chalky and what we call punky, it just gets to an age point, and then once it hits that point, it really starts to deteriorate quickly. We didn't see that on this structure. The concrete's still sound on there, even though there are some defects to the concrete. It's not something that's going to affect the structural component. So, I don't know if we have a long-term plan on that. I'm not familiar with any of that, so.
it's safe as far as the top part too, where it's the railing and stuff?
Well, after that collision a couple years ago, I guess, the railing is installed, at least as delineation. It's as safe as, it's a delineated railing. I wouldn't say it's up to crash standards, but it's, you know, as long as we don't have a kid going over the edge of it again, I think we'll be okay. Would it hold it again? Maybe, depending on the speed, number of factors.
Okay.
I mean, in these rural bridges, we see a lot of without railing, you know, or maybe something we call a delineation rail, it just says, hey, there's, you know, there's bridge edge here, so if there's at least that, it's something, you know. If you had you know, if you had a crash there, somebody got hurt or killed, you know, there's always a liability concern with that. We do include that usually in our report, that, hey, you need to upgrade your rail, but that's a liability concern for you folks.
Doesn't need to have a load rating or anything like that.
I don't remember, is that one load rating? I didn't put, usually I put the load rating on my.
This says,
Is that one on the-
this says alternate routes are available for heavier loads.
Correct.
No.
12, 20, yeah, we've got it at 50% capacity.
50%.
It is loaded at 12, 20. And I'm sure that while I was inspecting it, a heavier load than that went over it, but that's so common. But, yeah. Any questions with any of this so far?
No.
The next page, this one's on Coos Road, 152, 120, obviously just serves a limited, what, one person there, I believe?
Oh, Couch Road,
Couch Road, Couch Road, is that how?
C-O-U,
So, you know, that's my
See.
mistake. Anyway, that,
right, just right north of town
just
here.
north of town.
Yeah.
That one
6
scares
miles.
me a little, quite frankly. If you look at that picture, this actually, that top picture I actually took in 2018. It was underwater this year. And I'm sure that didn't get any better. I'm fairly certain that those columns that are completely corroded through like that, they're carrying a load. And we get the right load across that. We don't know what's going on with that slab. It's just such an indeterminate structure. We don't know anything about obviously there's no plans. It was built in the 30s, or what was it, 1930?
Yeah.
We don't know anything about, we don't know what's in there for resteel, we don't know if it's got, what it's got for load carrying capacity. And while we were inspecting it, there was trucks using it for
Oh, yeah,
parts,
there's-
so.
A lot of trucks go across.
It's
there.
just, we really want to bring it to your attention just because there could be a liability issue if something bad happens.
And I suppose we'll have to re-bridge that instead of culvert it.
It's
because-
supposed to be,
Well,
suppose it's scheduled for what, a cement tube, ain't it?
Is it?
I thought it was.
Do you know?
I just figured where we had to put a
We have
bridge
3
in there.
PEs in this county. I didn't see it in my
Elegance would
list
have
of
to put a
PEs.
bridge.
I think so. I think
above
it's
it.
this one, that one out on the 10 mile.
Are you
And
doing a
then,
hydraulic analysis on it?
I think that's,
Because I thought it might have been marginal for the pipes or something. I didn't know if we were doing it.
I think that's one that we're doing a PE. I think it was one that qualified for a PE, wasn't it?
I think so.
Could have,
I think so.
maybe I missed it in my list.
Val would
Val
know.
would know.
Right behind you.
Well,
What's PE?
Couch
Funding,
Road Bridge.
funding part of it. Yeah,
What about it?
that's on the list.
Is that on our list for the
No.
PEs?
I did not see it on my
It's
list.
not.
when I was looking.
Okay.
Because,
Do you see the pictures of it?
yeah, it's kind of like, it's cobbled together. It's like something that somebody pieced together years ago. And I was always told that if they ever took it out, they would just put a pipe in there. But
I was thinking maybe a low water crossing might work there, or maybe the maximum. We'd want to have we're going to run a hydraulic analysis on it, so to determine for sure what it would take. We don't dare back that water out. So.
yeah.
Problem with it is
Well,
there's a lot of timber upstream of that.
You know, went down the road 3 miles, they had to put a bridge in there at Halligan's.
Oh, you're
They
talking
could-
about where cameras live?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's on that same creek.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess I was always under the impression that it wasn't necessary to do anything with it, but it just goes to a field. But
What if
Well, there is
somebody
a-
falls through on it?
There is a farmstead on the west side, and there was trenches when I was there. It's just a concern, because,
we'll just have to,
like I say, the picture of the,
I think
It
there
is
was.
posted,
yeah, I
right?
guess it is pretty.
and that's all, most of the columns on the west here.
It is posted.
There's other farmers
Yes,
west
we're
three
too.
done.
Yes.
There's another farmer at least to the west too, I said.
Okay. I know it's a minimum maintenance past the Stratford List, so. I didn't know what the use was, I just have to point out that it could be a concern if
Oh, yeah.
it flags.
There's some heavy traffic going across there.
So I don't know if you were interested in pursuing it as a PE grant, that's something you could discuss. Or just a PE to determine, to have a hydraulic survey done to determine what you need. So, I would certainly think that a low water crossing might be in order, that's just a guess. I've seen low water crossings on drainages of about that size, but without having a map and actually studying, I couldn't say for sure.
Cheapest route.
Cheapest route would be pipes if you can get away with it, if it'll, if we can keep our headwater down.
Keep hydraulics or high.
But like I say, it's got a lot of drainage up north of there, so they made them put a bridge in right below there, a couple miles, because of the drainage.
The other concern I have with either pipes or box culvert, the concern I have is there's a lot of timber at that structure. There's a lot of deadfall apparently upstream, and I know 2 years ago when I looked at that bridge, it was plugged almost completely full of dead branches with bridge in there, so that could be another factor. Any questions on that one? Any other comments? I know you probably don't want to talk about Four Corners Bridge, but I gotta tell you, I do about 800 bridges a year, and this is my favorite. But, no, it's, for the year it was built, 1930, that structure's actually in pretty good condition. The superstructure on that, all the truss members are perfect. I mean, there's not a, hardly a defect to be found in all 1,500 feet of that. Not a missing rivet, nothing. Other than there's some missing bolts on some of the main shear pins, but those don't seem to be working out or anything. Aren't the only problem we're running into, if you go to the next page, a couple of those piers, the concrete is hitting that punky stage that I was just talking about. This is what I'm talking about on the other bridge. When you start to see this, we know that the concrete's starting to deteriorate a little more rapidly. Now, it's only on two starting the third pier where we see this out of all those piers, where we actually see this kind of deterioration. So it's not on all the units. So I put it in here as a possible preservation type project. Talk about it. You can tell me I'm crazy because nobody uses it, but I want to put it out there. There may be ways to repair this and continue to use that structure for another 40 years or whatever.
Now, which piers are these?
Number
5.
9 is number 5 and number 9.
Which side of the river they are?
They're all on your
Slide that down.
Oh, I see. I get where you're going with it. You might have to visit with your neighbors to the north, is that what you're saying?
Thank you. So is the whole bridge ours?
Well, it's shared.
My understanding, you got a shared agreement of some sort with it? What is it, Zebach or Zebach and Mead?
Zebach, Mead,
Because there's what, a
and
quarter mile of Zebach up
and
there?
Pennington.
That's why I don't know why we have to take the full cost of inspection. It's in 4 counties and we just have that one end there.
I don't know how you work an agreement.
We never had an agreement that I know of.
I mean, we do inspections in Mead and Zebach, so it'd be real easy for us.
It's just no one.
You have never done it for them?
It's always been on your tab, because that's, our work order comes from the DOT. And we just do what they tell us, so it's a conversation to have with DOT.
What would a new bridge cost?
For this? No. The bill I heard on the one at Reserve Repair is 40-some million, so. But it seems to me, if those are your concerns, especially if there were something to be done to save it, if you will, it'd be worth the conversation with DOT to see what could be done as a shared expense. I think that could be done. I think we could probably look at repairing those substructure units for, I don't know, I'm going to ballpark it at $250,000 max. But if you split that, and if it's a preservation project, counties are only picking up 20% of that tab on a big preservation grant, it starts to get a lot more reasonable for you. Depending on what the DOT would require us to do.
Well,
That's what
tell
you
DOT we're just gonna blow it, otherwise, our part of it.
Yeah, and the reason I want to discuss it is because it's at a point where if you're going to do something, you're going to want to do it soon. Because we're seeing that deterioration. It's actually worsened in 2 years. particularly on that Pier number 9 that I looked at, which, yeah, okay, it's in Zebot County, but it'd be a shame really it is kind of a shame to see it go away, in a way.
Yeah, especially if you can get the help on it.
Right.
And if the other counties had shared the, you know, 250,000.
And I'll certainly leave all that discussion to you folks, but if there's any more information we can provide, we're sure happy to do it.
And I'm not sure if the state originally built it.
Yeah.
Was it on the state highway, right?
Yep.
They originally built it, but then I thought when the state abandoned it, that all 4 counties took over it.
That's
Took it over.
what I would understood when I started for the county, that 4 counties were responsible, but somehow it,
All fell to you?
I don't know when it did, but.
Well, it's been prior to 2014 when I started looking at your bridges, because we've always done it before you.
2014?
Well, that's when I first started looking at it. Our firm was involved before then, I don't know how many years.
Dad was pretty young when that was built reasonably, and said the governor come and, you know, the Indians were there en masse, and, well, they had a carnival. It was like it was a big deal. You know, those.
Sure.
Another way to get across it. And I think quite a few people died crossing the river in the years.
I believe it. Talked to Harold there that lives right by there, preacher up in Red Alley's actually. My parents preacher up in Elm Springs, but he told the story that you just said. They had quite a celebration. Our uncle actually helped build that bridge. There's a picture of him. It's kind of neat. Anyhow. Any questions about bridge inspections?
What about the deck on it?
You know, that deck, it's old. It's got a lot of cracking, top and bottom. That would be my concern if you go into big grant funding and the DOT requires to replace all the decks. I think it would really be a question of how many years would you really like to get out of this at what cost? You know, one solution may be to knock the decks out and put in an orthotropic steel system or something to be a lot cheaper than perhaps than a concrete deck. The decks are not in great shape, but I don't think they're at a point of deterioration. I mean, they're not at a point where the concrete's punky or whatever. There's some cracking on it, but I would estimate they still have some life in them. I haven't seen any change in the deck condition in the 6-8 years whenever I've been looking at it. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I rated that deck at. It's probably at a 4, which is fairly low, but that's only because of the amount of cracking on it. Just a quick look and see where we have that. Yeah, I've got the deck at an NBI rating of 4, which is pretty low, meaning it's not in great shape. But again, it's not at a point of rapid deterioration either. A PE grant, if that was a path that anybody wanted to go to, would probably flesh out options and cost, cost estimates on all those issues. Other than that, your bridges are in really good condition, for the most part.
And those are the ones we knew about anyway.
Val, I'm gonna give you the book, even though I gave you the hard drive.
Can't believe they didn't have any agreement. I can't believe the county had never had any agreement on that at all somewhere.
They didn't wanna look at yours either.
I would think there'd be something. And they took it over.
Well, so, yeah, where do we need to go, like on that couch bridge? I mean, we need to do something, obviously. What would your suggestion be where we go on that?
Well, that'd be a full replacement. I think we'd probably want to go through the big grant program, I presume. I think we start pursuing a PE grant to begin with. That gets it surveyed and determine what we need to replace it with. The PE grants were already awarded in August, so we're almost a year from there. But we will certainly stay on top of it if that's the course you want to go. Or you can hire an engineering firm like Rose or somebody to actually do the hydraulic survey for you ahead of time. That actually gains you points, and you pay for it. But that gains you points in the big score.
Yeah, because we would have to do a DOT PD
Right.
to get that. And if it just was something for you, we can do what we call a mini hydro. And, but the DOT won't recognize it because it doesn't have the 83 points that they wanted.
We'll get back to you on that.
Yeah.
I want to make sure what you said is 100% accurate.
It is,
Because we
trust
have been doing, okay, we have been doing some full-blown hydraulic analysis for other counties.
You can.
And then when the county pays for them, and then that gains points. As long as we, as long as we do.
As long as we cover the 83 points.
Right, the 2D, whatever,
Yeah.
hydraulic analysis.
About what's that run approximately?
We did one for, I can't remember which county it was.
I can't answer that because I don't get involved in the pricing of that, but we can sure get back to you.
The full-blown hydraulics were, I can't remember.
I think we'll have to get back to you, give you a good answer on that.
Yeah.
It's not, we're not talking $20,000 to my knowledge, we're talking less than that. Are we?
If we're doing the full-blown for the DOT, yes.
Oh, then I'm not even
Okay,
used to
well,
it.
yeah, just
We're gonna get back to you on
with
that.
us.
We certainly will.
Yeah.
Would you like us to give you a ballpark quote?
Yeah.
Okay, you wanna follow up on that?
I can get with Doug, we'll get a quick quote.
I don't, again, I don't know what the price is.
So that makes me nervous looking at those pillars on that couch. No,
Don't look.
those guys run
Don't
across
look.
it with a
Close your
semi.
eyes.
It made me
It's
nervous
pretty
when
narrow, you
expecting
don't wanna
it
close your
paint truck
eyes.
went over it. Cause I know what's underneath there.
So, Steve, you're pretty familiar there. Does somebody live in Couchy's house?
Oh, yeah.
Creaser.
Full-blown.
Yeah, there's big.
Low
Says
water
water.
crossing, that could be a hardship or not, like somebody living there?
No, that
Be
creek
just
runs just a very few days a year.
It'd be just like the one out here going to
Oh,
Rosette.
I know what they are.
Yeah,
I was
but I
talking-
mean, there wouldn't be more hardship than that one.
I think that a low water crossing, like, it depends, to me, my idea anyway, is like that creek runs sometimes pretty deep, but not for very long.
Okay, that was my point, not for
Week or
multiple,
two.
yeah.
It probably gets less flow than this one on the east side of town, or west side of town.
Because they want you to
I would
Yeah.
assume.
Yeah,
There's always water standing there, but it doesn't seem like there's much running through there.
right.
And the other thing is that if it's washing a bunch of stuff down, it might go over the top instead of,
Right.
if it's washing that
I'll
hard.
tell you how big a
It's plugged right now anyway.
A low water crossing probably a little more maintenance because of the timber debris that come in every spring.
I know.
Just for something.
Maybe it helps, maybe that timber helps support.
I don't know that, I have to go look at it, I haven't been up there much.
It blew out of there.
I've only been up there once or
between
twice.
2018 and 2020, I know that, and there wasn't near as
Is that
much
where
as this
Sig
year.
lives?
A lot of
Yeah.
water come down there
Sig
this
Martin?
year.
Yeah.
There's quite a bit of junk in it now, ain't there?
Nothing like it was 2 years ago. But there was a lot more water under there this year. I couldn't, that picture there, that's why that picture's from 2018, you couldn't see that. I don't even know how much worse that corrosion became, but I'm sure it didn't get better.
Where does that water run to? Into Lake Wagner?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that creek that
Well,
comes
is
right
it-
down through.
Grindstone Creek.
If you'd like, we'll go ahead and leave this map with you if you want to hang it in here somewhere. I left one for Val, she's tired of them, I think I've been piling up her desk for 6 years. Mike, and any other questions, we'll get back to you for sure on.
We were just talking about that, the ones we're doing for them now are about 65,000.
What?
Yes, for the DOT.
Does that
For
include
the
the design?
For the PE, that's for the
Survey?
PE. But when we do a mini hydro, it's about 7,500.
Well, we'll see what the
That's
rules,
what it
we'll
is.
see what the rules of the game are, and what we can do.
Yeah.
We'll get back to Val. She'll-
Yeah, we'll definitely get back to you about it.
Okay, good.
Because like I said, we're doing 3 of them for you already. Through the big program.
Yeah,
It's through the big.
the 3 that are in
Oh, yeah.
except I get the bridge over by Midland is in the one, you know, the one that we had problems with last year.
They replace the berm and put the concrete on.
Yeah.
That was one of them, the
That's
original
one of
was on
them.
it.
And then the Slavic, Mary Slavic's house, old place. And then-
That's it.
Yep, and the one by Mrs. McDaniel's.
Good.
Yeah.
That would be the two I included.
Yeah.
I didn't include the one about with the berm in there.
Yeah.
Because it was repaired, and I know we've got some other work coming. I know they completed the hydro when I came up with the recommendations.
Sweet.
Well, appreciate it, I guess.
Yeah. Any questions, the numbers are on there, you can call Tom out of Sturgis, probably hit on those.
So I guess we need to get a hold of DOT and see how that's supposed to be up there on the Four Corners Bridge on, as far as everybody being involved in it, not just Haakon County, or who would that be the way?
I certainly think that would be the place to begin, probably local government, probably Tammy Williams at DOT, she's the head of local government assistance.
Tammy Williams?
Tammy
Yes,
Williams, yeah.
Tammy.
She'd be the person to start with, express your concern. She'll be dealing with folks in ZBOG and me, whatever, so she'd be the point of contact there. You have a number?
I'm looking. I can't remember if I got hers or not. I know I got Doug's, but
Kinberg?
yeah.
I think that'd be best to go through Tammy.
Yeah, for that, it would definitely. No, I don't have hers.
That's Tammy Williams with local government assistance. That'd be a place to start.
I have a number on the computer at work.
Okay, yeah. Good. Yeah. So I don't know, do you wanna just contact her and see
I can.
see where we're at on that? Say, we've been kind of footing the bill, but we kind of felt that it was supposed to be a Ford County deal, not just.
I mean, even the inspection, that's, it's a 2.5 day deal just to inspect it. We have to bring in a man lift because it's a fracture critical structure. So your cost on that, even just the inspection, is
You don't
higher
work-
than any normal bridge.
You don't work with bungee cords?
I'm not that, look at me, do I look like I'm a bungee cord kind of guy? I'd break a bungee cord.
They built that in 1932, is that 1930?
30, yeah.
Wow.
Shit, last thing we had, he was over here.
It's kind of a landmark. It really is. It's a landmark. It's a landmark for sure.
Questions or anything on that Four Corners Bridge, or want any more information, just give me a call.
Bad thing about it, I don't know how much it's used, how much they gets used or not, but
Yeah, somewhere up there.
Okay,
Quite a bit,
Feel free
more than
to-
you think.
I'll help you any way I can.
okay. Will do. It's right there.
Well,
Yeah, I think I'm done.
The big plan,
The
5-year plan,
5-year plan.
are we doing that next?
That's what I was gonna ask.
guess we just as well if they're here and wanna listen.
Okay. I didn't know what time I was scheduled for.
I said it at 4 because I didn't know.
At 4?
But that's just for like the year you.
Well, I can be here at 4. I didn't know what time I was scheduled for.
If you wanna do it, if it doesn't matter, we can, but that.
I can do it, I'll be here at 4. I didn't know what time I was scheduled. I was just told to come.
Oh, yeah.
maybe we should do it. Maybe we should do it now, Nick. Since they're
Yeah,
here.
let him get
Are
going.
you gonna have,
Do you anticipate anybody showing up?
Tom, I think I'm gonna take off.
okay, see you later.
Thank you, folks.
Thanks.
Yep, see it.
Val, I left that for you.
Okay, all right.
Don't throw your back.
Okay, all right, thanks.
You got enough wood there to keep you warm all winter, don't you?
It's in one book this year instead of 2.
He was carrying that in, he goes, I don't know, I could made 2 books out of this.
Oh, okay. The on systems and the off systems are in two separate.
I can sign.
You wanna pull up too?
I'll sign this real quick and then we'll get started.
How deep was it?
Gosh,
Pretty much the bottom. Right, I think your dark hand there, right, that dark pencil.
Yep,
Everybody should have it.
that's it, yep.
Some
Look
of them
like
are
this on the
black.
black and white, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
Short of colored ink?
Well, I don't know, you guys gave the copies.
Oops. No, that was a state one.
This back, so if anybody else needs to sign it. For the public.
Yeah.
I'm Tom Wilson. You guys have seen me here before. I'm coming here to make a presentation on the 5-year plan. Basically, this is an update from previous years. A lot of it really is like on page 4 pages in. This one here shows you projects that are in progress and what are scheduled for future. These are those big funds, the bridge improvement grant funds. The PEs were the first, preliminary engineering grants are the first step, and then we go to the design and construction after that. I can tell you, most of the survey work is done on the preliminary engineering. We're doing some more analysis. They should be done in the next couple months. Once we get this, we will submit after we get this done and get it turned into the DOT, next year we will submit to the DOT for the construction. And we gotta go through that whole process again.
Government action.
What's that?
Government action.
Government, yeah. More and more paperwork. I better get my glasses on so I can actually see it.
And it's still no guarantee that it'll be done in the next 3 years. I mean,
No, there's no guarantee that it's gonna get accepted for the construction, even after we do the preliminary engineering. It's all.
point system and.
Yep. It's all based on, how the bridge is rated, what it's posted. I mean, there's a list about yay long, the things that they check and give you points on. And if you rate high enough, yeah, then it gets approved, and once they run out of money, they draw a line on their list, because they make it from the highest points to the lowest points, and they draw a line on the list, say, these are gonna get done.
Where they hit their snafu, East River, Yankton, or wherever else, the list is probably pretty long for once, and up north.
Well, thing is, every county can only get so many dollars in a 3-year time period. And some of those back east have already reached their limit for their 3-year monies.
Yeah.
They can't even apply until they've got some more money coming in. So, that's why if we can get some that aren't real expensive, but a rate high, that helps. We can get more projects in. I believe, okay. Trying to remember these 3. I think they're all.
Two of them are wood structures.
Yeah, those would probably be replacements, and the other one would have been possibly a rehab project. Rehabs they treat differently than they do replacements. So this is, it's all how we do it, working in. Yeah, and the matching, I mean, basically it's all 80-20 monies, all of it.
So how would our projects be rated? Severe needs or
Those-
to the bottom of the list?
I think that you would rate high enough that we've got a pretty good chance that they would be accepted.
Each one?
The two timbers for sure. I couldn't tell you without actually running the numbers, but I think they would rate high enough. The only thing that we might have a problem with, isn't one of them there's just one place past the bridge? One house past the bridge, or they serve more than one thing?
Just one. If that's couches, is that the one you're talking about?
No,
No.
you're talking about
10 mile?
Two timber
the
ones.
two timber ones,
I can't remember.
Oh, the two
10
there.
mile.
that's on Grindstone now.
One's on Grindstone, that one would make it.
So, but the Slavic one, no, they.
That's a through. That's a through road.
Because they have a rule that if it only serves one family, it gets ruled out.
There's one family that lives on that road.
One family lives on the road,
But
it-
there are other landowners back there.
There's other people
Yeah,
live
so
there,
that would qualify.
it's
you know,
But
there's,
it's only,
there's,
roads.
what they don't wanna do is put a new bridge in on somebody's road into their house.
there's at least 4 families live back there that use that every
Yeah.
time they come to
If there's
town.
more than one landowner back there, then it qualifies.
Camera bridge. How'd that camera bridge qualify?
There wasn't any way to go around,
Oh,
that was over $1 million bridge.
I know. I mean, there's only one
There wasn't
person that
any
lives
way
there.
to go around that bridge to make a road or. Is there anybody living there?
Was that a
No, I
big
think
or
there
was
is
that
somebody out
before
there.
the big?
Before the big.
Okay, because when it was stiff, we could work things out better that way. Big's got a few
Right.
different rules to it.
A lot, yeah.
Yeah. The stiff was a lot easier.
And the highway superintendents in South Dakota do not like it.
No,
They absolutely do not like this big.
this big program, they don't like it at all. It's just, it's
You-
more paperwork. is
You
all.
weren't highway superintendent when this went in effect, were you
At Pennington, I was.
You were?
But it didn't matter to me, we didn't have wheel tax at that
That's
time.
Did they finally get that passed?
Yeah, yes, they've got a $2 wheel tax.
It was so illogical, but the people in town don't wanna use all the outside bridges.
Yeah, it just,
It wasn't explained.
well, they also had a very strong lobby against it, and what it was is all the people that register their motorhomes in Rapid City. Because if they can get them licensed in Rapid, all they had to have was a mailbox there. And those people could actually vote and voted against it.
Colorado,
Oh, Arizona, Nevada, you name it, they were from all over. But yeah, they avoided paying extra taxes on their license plate because of it. The year that they had that vote on that wheel tax, the auditor said, yeah, I had more, mail-in votes than she had ever had before.
Huh.
So, on the map, we try to keep that up to date. Shows you where some of the rehab, preservation, preliminary engineering are all located. And the year, we make different colors for different, now yours are black and white.
So that helps.
We got different colors for different years on it.
I think it was colored on my computer.
Yeah, it would be. So, basically, it's, like I said, this is basically just an update from last year's.
So it's not a lot changed. Just getting pushed back a little more. A lot of counties, that when they do these, if they say, yeah, we're gonna have a big crushing project 3 years out, they want us to add to this with the crushing. Not everybody does. This one, it looks like mostly that we're working with crushing, big.
Gravel crushing?
Yeah, I just did Bennett County, so they've got a big crush, they're gonna crush up 80,000 ton of gravel. They said, for our budget, that's gonna be that year, that's our budget. So they said, put that on there for that year, so it shows the state, we are improving our roads, but we don't have any other money for anything else. So, that's what different counties do these different. So, this is mainly just the big and the bridge. Yeah.
So basically what it amounts to is you're telling the state that you're improving your roads.
Oh, the years they
That's what
plan
they
on
were
doing
doing.
these bridges.
Yeah.
But they're not in color.
And does that count as
But here it tells
points
you.
towards?
No, it's not points, it's just
Date.
more information
Yeah,
to
okay,
let the state know where you're spending your money.
No.
See, did I bring in?
So Val, what's the third one on here? You got the grindstone and the 10-mile road. What's the third one?
The third one is that one over by East Amendment that we had the berm last year,
Okay.
that flood.
Okay.
Here's an example that I was talking about. Millette County, I just talked with them this morning. They got aggregate roadway resurfacing, 19 miles, grading and small drainage structure replacement. Culverts, basically. Annual bridge maintenance by county forces. They're listing them so that they're showing the state that they're doing these sort of things. Yours is mostly talking about the big.
So we should
Just
be
different
talking about
counties.
culverts we're doing too?
That's your choice. That's your choice. This is the way they wanted to present it to the state. And like I said, Bennett County's doing the same sort of thing. They don't have many bridges that they're worried about. They've only got 9 structures total. So, and only 2 of them are bad. But you're still talking almost a quarter of them.
Yeah, 25%.
It's just kind of like
Justifying.
that money they give us.
Yeah, it's justifying the expenditures is what it is. If you want to do that, we can do that, but it's not that big a deal. It's kind of a wash. It's kind of a wash.
Don't see a big benefit in it.
But if you do repairs on bridges, that's nice to show in this, that you're going to do. Because that helps them see that you're spending money on your bridges also. Any questions? Well, the checklist for the items that we need to finish this, need your signature on the certification form, which is the first. And
So I need a motion to approve the
other items we need.
Five-year plan?
5-year bridge plan. I'd so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the plan. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Have him sign colored ones.
Is that?
You want the colored one signed, or you got the colored one? There? They don't
They're
matter.
the same, they're all black and white there.
Perfect.
Okay, project status, got it. Affidavit of publication. Okay. And attendance list, that'll have to come to me after 4 o'clock.
Can I scan it to you
Scan it, please, scan it and send it, that's
How
the
about the
best.
affidavit?
Do the same thing, scan that and send that to me.
Now I know what it is.
My email's on
Tom, you wanna have this to Carl?
I mean, every,
Checklist is in here too, isn't it?
pardon?
I think the checklist.
Yeah, it was in that, it's right after the certification. And projected revenue, that's done. 5-year project list done, project status list done. Okay, affidavit, you don't have, that's not applicable. Attendance list, once you get the signatures, and if there's any public comments. Minutes is fine. That, actually, public comments, if you put that in the
I know
minutes.
that because last year, that was one of the things they told me that we needed to add to the minutes.
Yeah, yes. And then if you'll send that to me, and then I can highlight that, the comments for the meeting. And then we will turn this into the DOT once I get all the checklist items. Send it to me tomorrow, next day.
Minutes done tomorrow, but
You can get it to, if you can get it to me this week, that'd be great.
we can do it sooner.
That would be the best.
No, we can't have to.
Because then, because we have to turn this in before the 14th or 15th.
It'll be, yeah, by
This
Friday
week.
for sure, yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Nice, thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
You bet.
I just saw you, what, is that last week or the week?
Last week. No, not last week.
No, it was
So out there at Couches, if low water or low crossing would work, would that be a no-brainer to do? Or,
That needs fixed. Need to do sometime.
yeah,
Wait,
Well, yeah, but like they said, actually a culvert would probably be cheaper.
Yeah, culvert would be the cheapest.
that's what we have always, Kenny always thought that's what would be the best. Is a culvert. Kinda hard to hear, isn't it?
It'd
yeah.
be nice to be, figure out the size of the culvert that you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Well,
would have
that's
to be-
where we gotta do the study first.
Yeah,
So-
get the hydraulic study
Because you
done.
can always leave one end of where the water doesn't go through the culvert, it can go around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you never put a big enough culvert
Right.
there to take the water that comes down that correct. It goes over the road every year.
Are you talking about this Couch Road?
Yeah.
Oh, it would be more of a, not a steel culvert, it'd be
Box.
a box.
A box that you're talking about?
Probably, wouldn't it?
Probably.
It's
Thinking
It takes a
about what-
lot of water
Takes
coming
a lot
down
of
there.
water there.
like ours is 8-foot tube, and it don't take all that. Plus I got the culvert, the cattle guard opened up. That's another 3x4 or 4x6 or 4x8, whatever they are. Runs through there, it still goes over my road, and that's 3 miles up the creek.
Yeah, it's a big water creek.
It's actually about 24 inches below the bridge at 73 at Lake Wagner. When it comes down that creek. It actually backs up, it can't get through that bridge fast enough. It backs it up all the way up.
That'd be a lot of water.
Yeah, that's what's coming down that.
It's, like that right there at Couches is just a big long flat, so it just goes over, it goes down, starts going through again.
Well, like Bruce said, the one thing I saw when I went out and looked at it, I'd be concerned about branches and trees, debris floating downstream.
Well, that's happened a lot.
But, even a bridge, you gotta worry about that.
I think more goes through them big tubes than goes through bridges. Those crosses and all those braces and stuff, that bridge ours used to be plugged all the time.
Depends upon the type of structure.
Yeah, there's not that many trees above it though. Not like there is from there down.
lot.
Yeah, I think, like I said, a tube or a box, and then a low water.
Low water crossing, I suppose you'd have to, then
You'd
the
have
debris
to-
would be on top of the,
It could flush into it,
I think if you put and I don't know if you can do that, if you could put a low water crossing with like if you could put a couple plastic tubes under that and then put your cement over top of that, maybe they won't let you do that.
yeah. If
So
you're
it'd
doing
take
it
that
with your
slow
monies,
water?
that's one thing.
But if you can get it to take that slow water, is what I'm
You
saying.
can get it to take the.
So it'll dry up.
A medium to low flow, yeah.
Cause that's they are out here, ain't they?
You've got a little,
They're kind of a box culvert.
you've got a
with
little
cement over it.
box over here, just outside of town.
Right,
are you
That's
talking,
the same low water crossing, that's
Right.
one of the ways you can do it.
yeah, something like that.
over by Riz Logs and
Right,
over
that's
by
what we
Rogers
thought.
and there by TJ's, those
Yeah.
are both low water.
But they got
Only two that we have.
they got
They've
tube
got
through them, so the
tubes
slow water, yeah,
on both of those.
those would work. But
Yeah, I know there's one.
rock crossing will
We
work.
had in Minnehaha, it
It
was
is.
6 culverts. We had 6
That's what I got above it. So
42 inch culverts. And
it
then
really
paved
doesn't.
over
I mean,
top.
it runs
That
so
was our
few
cross.
days a year.
Then we had
Let's
gates on
get
the
it.
top, we'd close them with the
So
water.
good.
Local farmer would close the gates with
Was
the
it
water.
5 inches or something last?
So when they got down below the tubes, he'd open the gates.
Are they cement? What were they made of?
We had concrete pipe. We had 6 of them. It handled a lot of water.
See, like there, I don't know if you can get like a culvert, like an 8-foot culvert. I don't know if it'd fit in there. That levels out pretty flat. It might be deep enough. I don't know. I haven't looked at it.
You're talking like a 96-inch culvert.
Yeah.
Maybe get an arch in there
Oh,
that's a
yeah.
little shallower.
An egg-shaped one or whatever. Yeah.
They're the arch.
That's what-
Squash pipe we used to call them.
That's what we got in
I bet
ours,
it would
but
fit.
I think that, I don't think the creek beds is deep there.
Take a lot of dirt to cover it. No.
There's all sorts of options.
It's pretty deep.
Like Val said, she was talking about box, small box.
Yeah.
That would not be a bad idea.
Yeah, see what works, so hydraulics is
It
the
would
big
have to be
thing.
designed hydraulically,
Yeah,
and how often would you be willing to have it go over? That's the other thing.
they'd probably go
Does
over
it
about every
come,
year.
it comes up and down real fast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, usually
That was one of the other
Just
questions
right.
I had.
24 hours.
Big rainfall or a fast snow melt.
Here, I gotta slide by.
Like this spring, we got 2.5 inches of rain up towards the head of that creek, and then right up on the divide at the very head of it, they got 4.5 inches. That all come down at once.
Where are we at?
Couch Road.
Well, I'm sure it's a homemade deal.
Yeah.
And he said that with the west,
It doesn't.
Yeah,
Bill
it was a
Mack,
lot.
you better
They're
be
all
careful
like that.
running this equipment across there.
Well, it's posted, so I guess if it fell, of course, if there's a lot of debris under it, he's only gonna fall so far.
And you hope that the truck's overloaded, cause then you can sue them.
Yeah.
Hmm?
We were early. My brother's already come and gone. He brought the bridge reports here. Pardon? Can't hear over that thing.
All in one book,
Yeah, I got one, put them all in one. Carrying them in, he said, I bought you a wheelbarrow to bring it in.
Up over here.
Do you have to leave the door open?
Supposed to.
Public meeting. That's the only reason we walked in.
You wanna sit out?
Exception for
Hmm?
noise, that's annoying.
All ready for them two bridges? Getting all ready for them two bridges? They're not until 22 though, are they?
The preliminary, we're about done with it. We got the switching. We got the surveying done, and they're doing the analysis.
I pretty much trust what Tom says because he used to be highway superintendent.
I was
In
in
Minnehaha, you were
Minnehaha, I
assistant.
was the assistant
And then in
superintendent
Pennington, you was the
for 12 years.
12 years at
And then
Pennington.
Pennington for 4.5 as the super.
Looking to move to Phillip or?
What's that?
We're looking for a superintendent.
That's quite all right. I enjoy where I am now.
That was too
That ain't
fast.
nothing like that.
No, I know, but no, I don't want the,
And he's got ties close to Haakon County.
oh,
You don't get-
Haakon and Pennington and
We'll see.
Mead. This is my family.
Who's your dad then?
Jim
Jim?
Wilson. He lives north of Wicksville,
Yeah.
along the Elk Creek now.
Related to Carol.
Carol
Price?
is my aunt, yes.
The Wilsey twins,
Which one's,
girls,
that's my nieces.
they got my son through school. Paid him to do this writing.
Peggy Wilson's boys, right?
Yeah.
You got more twins in the family evidently?
What's that?
You got more twins in the family evidently?
I've got, well, two cousins that live up along the Cheyenne, from the far north end of Pennington County. And there's a second cousins down by Hermosa that are twins. So, yeah, there's a lot of Wilsons around.
I used to laugh at Bart when they lived up there. Those boys would want to go fishing in the river, so they'd go up to the river with a little tiny hook and they'd catch minnows.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'd go fishing.
That's what we did. I'd go fishing with them at that time.
Yeah.
You let them catch the minnows, then you go?
Go catch the baits and then throw
That took a
go
lot of
after the
patience.
catfish.
Want to go fishing.
Then we got a hold of a seine, and that was wonderful. You didn't have to sit there and go,
Catch them little tiny minnows.
Worked on the big ones too.
yeah, we caught a few catfish with worms. And my dad just sold the place down there on Deep Creek where
Yeah.
they grew up.
Yeah.
Just sold that a month ago.
Yeah.
Who did he sell it
One of the neighbors to the south. Can't remember his name.
Ty Eisenbrown.
Yeah. Yeah. He showed me a picture last winter. They had about 100 elk across the creek from
You haven't seen the one he shot?
I saw a few horns there.
He got one just here a couple weeks ago. It's 417 inches. It's new state record.
Wow.
Right, not too far from there.
Was that the one up by Dan Nelson's, up in that area?
Yeah, close.
Well, I think I'm done.
Okay.
But thank you, folks.
Yeah, thanks.
I keep stopping to see these guys about every 3-4 weeks. So if you got anything for me, just let them know and I'll talk to them.
Calls every now and
Yeah, I kind of like coming to this country. It's coming back home.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you much.
Yep, thank you.
Tom.
Thank you.
So Steve, is the Wilson place, is that north of the river or south?
Willsie's?
Yeah, where he grew up?
No, where he was talking about that piece that they sold was, you know, where we sat and watched those elk, right there, right across the road to the west, to the north, just a little ways. Right, you cross that cattle guard leaving there, there's no log cabin on
Get
the
something
west side
simple,
of the road.
Carla?
Yeah, let's do the, surplus, number
Or
7,
just a
surplus,
quarter.
treasurer's computer. All we need is a motion and a second on that one.
Yeah, that's a, we have a motion to surplus treasurer's computer.
So moved.
Second,
I'll second.
motion's been
Get me
made and
fast,
seconded.
Gary, get me fast.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries.
Number 10, is approval, motion to return the convention registration that was sent in for Gary. It was returned to us. We'd like to return it to the commissioner's travel budget.
Yes, I'll make a motion to move it.
Is there a second?
Second.
That motion's been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Pose same sign. Motion's carried.
And number 5, the next commissioners meeting falls on election day, so we'd like to move it to the 9th. Is that what we're thinking?
I have to go to Sioux Falls for Chuck's yearly appointment, so I will be gone, for 2 days after the 15th. 4th and 5th.
So they could have the 6th.
Could have it on the 6th
On
or the
Friday,
9th.
yeah.
Which one's the month?
Bottom one.
The bottom one now.
6th is Friday?
Yeah.
And then we'd canvass the votes also at that time.
Yeah, that's why we need to combine.
6 works for me, I guess.
Yep.
How much good overtime then, huh?
Voting? Well, this is talking
Okay.
about moving the meeting to the 6th, at our next one, and we can canvass the votes. Is there a motion? Go for the 6th.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries.
Okay, number 12, payroll tax deferral. President Trump has signed
Oh,
a
yeah.
executive order that you can defer the payroll taxes. The problem with that is it's not a forgiveness, it's a deferral. So after the first of the year, they would still be due. So we did not go with the program. I just wanted to let you guys know that. 2 problems, because it's a deferral. After the first of the year, the employee would have to make up that extra, so there would be more taken out of their check after the first of the year. The other problem is if an employee were to leave employment of the county would still be responsible for that tax. So the county would have to pay it out of their own funds rather than holding it out of the employees. just for your information, if someone would ask you, that's what the other counties and the state have done the same thing, simply because of the problems down the road of the county being responsible. Number 6, we have the county leave sign.
All the tuck pointing or whatever. Drought. Glad they don't work in here, huh?
They did last month.
No. We don't work in here. What?
What number are we on, Carla?
Right now we're on
Is it 6?
number 6, yeah, lead time record. Mike is looking at them. The other thing we could discuss while you're looking at that, under the shed project, I also was wondering, do you want us to go ahead and set out a bid for the roof repair, since they told us it'd be about a year out before we could get someone to come and do it, or?
I just kinda thought, oh, we didn't take any action, you mean?
I don't think, no, you said we
Okay.
really, yeah.
Yeah, I just thought we were gonna,
I think you said just put it on the next meeting.
okay.
What are you gonna ask for, a new roof cover?
Yeah, that's what they told us, they think a whole new tarp.
Cause that one that's up there, they said they don't even make that in, they would have to take all that off.
That one proposal they had, 6 prices, I know.
Did they ever think about putting the roof on?
That's what I said. All good.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do, yeah. Might be.
So how many $1,000s was the roof?
I think it was around 65.
Yeah.
And David didn't think that we could get any grants for that.
Yeah.
Do what?
David, at the planning district, he didn't think that that would qualify for any grants.
Well, it hasn't leaked for a while.
Right. It might leak all over after this project. A lot of people up there.
Probably gonna,
Yeah, that's true. Trains are not very good.
probably gonna be like, gonna have to bite the bullet again, but
Yeah,
We
it
just
do-
didn't know if you want us to let bids on or not, or advertise for bids.
You know, if it doesn't rain for a year, it'd probably be alright. It's alright today. Is it? Probably.
40%. And then the winter forecast or courtroom part that I heard, we didn't know if you wanted to get that done right away at the beginning of the year
We budgeted
or.
for it.
Budgeted for it. We just didn't know when you wanted to, if you just wanted to get it done or.
Well, probably need to kind of see what the court deals on the setup, did they take time off during Christmas, New Year's? I mean, that's something we probably should check on. Cause I know they've got court on January 11th, so
Yeah. I'll check.
that would be but I guess he would have, after court date, he would have a week in between the 2 court dates to do it.
Well, usually there's only court once a month unless
Oh,
it's
is it?
special.
Oh, okay.
I'll ask Jennifer, I'd like the best time.
But
for roof
it's
ones.
it's good to probably try to get him lined in and whenever, because he's pretty busy too.
Who's doing that?
Jerry Lewis.
Oh,
He's the one put the bid in on it anyway. Finish out the carpet and everything.
coolly.
It's under 50,000, so it should have to.
See how that turns out. The guy should start doing the rooms too.
Yeah, then,
Right. See how it works.
You want me to check with Jerry on his time frame, or
what's that?
want me to check with Jennifer and Jerry and see? if
Well,
they
yeah,
can-
kind of see what Jennifer's got in mind. Then we can see what Jerry's, what Jerry work out a schedule between the two of them.
Yeah. Do you want us to publish the roof bid then, or not?
For what?
The roof? Or do you want to
Well,
wait?
it's a long ways out whenever we do.
Yeah.
Budgeted for next year, so.
Right. I know all the.
After the first of the year, and then they can't get to it for the next year. I guess they could
Right.
add it to the budget for next year.
I know the prices of materials and stuff right now are crazy with this whole COVID thing.
That and the hurricane and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And build.
Yeah, just everything.
I don't think it would be surprised if it goes down the building does.
Right. Maybe.
You know, I mean, just, sure that, like, Sioux Falls, they're getting that. Amazon, that's gonna employ 1,000 people. So I mean, this area, I don't see it. They got a $1.9 million deal for them to, grant for them to put in, to go in down there.
Yeah, want to, we can do it. Talk about it again next
Yeah.
week.
Just. Do you need a motion to table it? I can't remember. There's some talk about a motion to table. But then we'll be all see kind of what everything's going on too for the next. So I guess I'd so
Motion to
move.
table the roof.
Yeah, I'd so move.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to table the roof till next meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Number 8, we talked about a cutoff date on the, like the highway department has for turning in time sheets.
To go from the 23rd to the 23rd as a pay period.
That's what the highway has.
And that should work out fine for you guys.
I would make a motion to go 23rd to 23rd so that we're in line with our payroll and not having our employees making a false payroll sheet for a week.
I'll second.
Motion?
That was a motion, right?
That was a motion.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Okay, the resolution 2023-03, your wording on your deputy pay and your step wages.
Oh, I think in the minutes, Gary was supposed to do some research on that to have us
Yeah, and I didn't, I
vote on it.
kinda slipped by me, I didn't get it done. But I won't think it'd take too long to, I think it was omitting one line, so. If you guys want to do it. We have, is there one in here, Carla?
It should be, I think, the one.
Right, maybe
Yeah,
I'm,
there was one.
one that, I must have missed.
I've seen it someplace.
Here it is, I found it.
Oh, that's in there.
Deputy DOE guard. Fifteen. 16. We could just make, depending on which one you think is accurate, we could just make these match each other, identical. You know, I don't know.
I don't know, I think it's pretty self-explanatory, and next year fix it. Or change it twice, but I don't care.
One has to do with the CDL and one doesn't. So that's where it does differ. But it does say talking, we could eliminate the, one talks about being first 3 months, and the other one doesn't mention, another one just says after 6 month probation. So isn't that where the argument was right there? 3 months versus 6? It's not the two, is it? That? But she wanted a step raise after 3, was it, Carla, was it 3 months?
Yeah, and two problems. In the resolution, it gives 3 and 6 months. In the handbook, it just gives 6 months. 6 months probation and then a step raise. You want to change it to match the handbook, or, yeah, that's just whatever you think it should be.
I just wanna make it so that it's the same, it's, you know, it's fair if we can.
Okay, well, what this is saying on the CDL is okay to start at 15 in the first 3 months if they don't have a CDL. 16 per hour for the second 3 months because they have to have their CDL after 3 months. Or else they don't have a job, basically. They're told they have to have their CDL within 3 months. And that's why they go to $16 after 3 months. Because they've gotta have a CDL. And then they will stay at that for the next 3 months and then go to 17 thereafter. You see what I'm saying? So,
I think that's what we talked about that one time.
okay, so we're actually going to change. Okay, so what do you wanna change now? How do you wanna word it?
He wants to just get rid of the, both where it says first 3 months, right? This one here. Forget, just eliminate this and eliminate this. Those two, right? Two I circled right there.
16 per second.
You stay at $15 an hour until you get your CDL.
Right, yeah, so it'd read $15 per hour with no CDL. And with CDL, it's 16. And then, 6-month probation.
So if you had a CDL before you start,
you start at 16.
You start at 16.
Yeah.
So here, how's this? CDL must be obtained within the first 3 months of employment.
No, he says no.
No.
Just get rid of the whole.
Get rid of that.
Yep. That way.
So then it goes. So then it just goes to.
Starting wage will be 16 if employee has CDL when hired.
When CDL is acquired.
Or
that way. Yep. That way, if he's got it when he starts, he gets paid 16.
That
if
would
it
work.
takes him 10 months to get it, then he don't go to 16 until he gets 10 months.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't get a 3.
But 16 isn't the top wage.
He
So in
wouldn't-
6 months they go to the normal wage. So that doesn't work. You see this?
Like when you start at 16, you have a CDL, you don't get a 3-month.
Right.
There won't be any 3-month, right?
There isn't right now in that.
So
The intention.
Right.
So your handbook just says, upon the satisfactory completion of the 6-month probationary period, the individual may receive a salary increase set by department head with approval of the Board of Commissioners. So, yeah, may, so it's.
I mean, they have to.
Yeah.
can I see that, Carl?
So our handbook doesn't show any step raises. Just our resolutions. Confusing.
So does our handbook, should it trump resolutions, or is it the other way around?
Resolution trumps handbook.
You could actually.
So this is what this, Nick, so what this is saying, that you could get a increase without a CDL? 'Cause this doesn't mention anything about a CDL down here.
No, that's just a general policy. It's not for highway or courthouse, it's just a general.
Okay.
But your resolution sets out
Your wages.
steps and your requirements.
And in your resolution, you have it separate for your highway department. You have it separate for any office that we choose to, or have chosen.
Yeah, I can read it shortly.
That's what I think. I think just redo it first of the year. We've already changed it 3 times this year.
Change it now and change it again in January.
Yeah.
Because you guys aren't going to change anything either.
Want to send it?
You guys want to read it?
Carl and I need it.
So then if they want to get a 3-month step increase, they gotta get their CDL, but if they already had a CDL, then they don't get a step increase for the whole year.
6 months.
Or 6.
You do get a step raise after 6 months,
It goes
even
up
though
to
you have a
It
CDL.
goes up to the wage everybody else is
So
getting,
then you would go to
which
the-
isn't exactly correct either, but
Right.
I don't know how you fix that all.
Well, after
Just having a few different things, it's already gets so confusing. Well, you do this for this guy and you do that for that guy, and pretty soon it's all confusing.
The what?
About, I couldn't hear you.
It's like he's trying to find a replacement.
He's gotta find one before he leaves. But I think that was in the small print on your contract.
So are we just waiting?
You wanna leave it till after the first of the year then?
That's what I think.
No, that,
Yeah, we do them all in January.
2 months.
Table that.
Carl, I sift through your papers enough times, they're all inside out, and I gotta dig every time when I wanna get to another topic.
Try to put them in order. but-
Oh, no, it don't matter. No. It's not you.
There's only one
There's only what?
left is 14.
COVID-19 plans and policies.
Well, how that come up, and I asked Carter to put it on when the COVID hit the equalization office over there, and Rose said it, but we don't have a policy in place, so there was nothing to go by. And, long story short, she asked me about the deputy and said sick leave, and then come back with this other paper, and, Rose said instead of sick leave, she wanted to do what the president suggested, or mandated. I don't know how that works. But, do we need a protocol? Like if somebody don't feel good, they maybe should notify people or step down, or, I just wanted it up for discussion. And I didn't have any smart answers.
I don't have any right answers either.
I mean,
I would say if someone was ill and thought there was a chance, if they were infected, that they would stay home until they had a negative test, or until they, you know, wouldn't you say, because,
Yeah, if you had a fever, don't come to work.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then usually if you feel like you are infected, you go to the doctor and they will do a test on you.
But I think the question is, are you paid during that time?
Oh, are you, oh, it's about being paid?
Well, I was
Some of
even
it.
thinking about not showing up. I mean, I don't know if the deputy, if she knew that her mother had it, I don't know, but
I thought she went and got tested and she was positive.
Later. Yeah,
So-
later she did.
so I mean, I don't know, but I think all of us use common sense, so I don't know what we need to be telling anybody else here. That's where I'm at.
Was she?
Oh, when I
in
went over,
contact where she needed to be quarantined?
when I went over and talked to Rose,
Isolated?
she said that she said that she had a sweater on that day and wanted to open the window, and that wasn't common, and so I talked to Katrina about it, and she said that, and she thought that it was just her sinuses, and I'm not believing it either, but Rose knows more than I do about it, said she had some of the symptoms, so she sent her home. And she's asking me about the pay because the pay period was up. And I eventually round up at sick leave, and I said, well, we'll take care of it at the meeting. Well, as a week off. I thought it was in 2 days and it was in 9 days. So then, when Rose brought that up about the 2-week thing, to take it out of that, just sounded right to me, instead of tearing up the sick leave. And with the president's order, I read that, so, you know, I was good with that. I don't know how it all, if common sense could have been used, or if it's already in, you know,
Well, I think part of her fear, Tom, is that she has no sick leave or vacation time built up.
Right.
So
Oh,
her
Katrina.
fear, yeah, her fear is she's not gonna get paid.
oh, and she should though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as I'm saying, I thought it was a 2-day thing and it was a 9-day thing. You know, so,
What's the president's policy?
There's stipulations that you have
it's,
to get paid.
it's like 2 weeks is at full pay, and then if it's for a kid or something else, it's 2/3, is it? Is that how it rolls? Walk over here, I think I might have 2 of them.
Oh, she said.
You know, and the darn COVID thing is serious, and it's kind of rampant around. So I don't know if we want to do anything else. I asked Amanda to look into the state with the contact thermometers. I don't know if we want that. I don't know if we want to. I thought, you know, the workers here getting it, that's a little different, but the plexiglass and the doors closed, it's still in order. You know, I thought a while back we should open them, but probably, I don't know.
We have a lot of voters in our office, and we've been Cloroxing like all the pins and the doors and the surfaces every time. Other than that,
Yeah.
I mean, we're in contact with a lot of people right now.
I talked to Dr. Klopper about, not for this, but about the issue with masks and all, and he says you can contact through your eyes too, you know, anything, and
We do have a lot of people that come in that are wearing them.
okay, good. And so, you know, I'm not prepared to suggest things or do anything. I just wanted to discuss it anyway and see what you guys were thinking.
We did have a lot.
I think the 2-week deal sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
Paid sick leave.
Yeah, and they're past the symptom thing at 2 weeks.
Because, well, you're not gonna pay
Well, and
them.
if anybody's at risk, Rose and I would be totally right up there. Well, you know, she was plumb exposed. Steve, I never followed up, and I was going to call Rose. Is she feeling all right or not?
As far as I know.
Yeah, I was gonna call her and I let that drop.
I know they went and got tested.
Yeah, well, good.
I talked to her yesterday morning and she said she was, they've been doing good.
Yeah.
Oh, good, good. It wasn't that I don't care.
Which to me, as long as you're taking your temperature every day, probably twice a day, coming in and going out and kind of paying attention, I would think you'd go back to work, but I don't.
Yeah.
And they're working from home, she's working from home anyway, so.
Yeah.
But you can be symptom-free and still be a carrier.
Pass it, yeah. But how long can you be exposed and then come down with it? How long's that? 4 days? 5 days?
I think it was 2 to 10 days, something like that.
You know, so if she's gonna get it, she should already have it.
Yeah.
One of my friends didn't get it till like the 11th day.
I think it depends on the person, you know.
I think the main advice, stay away from Quinn and Wall.
Yeah, no kidding.
And Kadoka.
Yeah,
Fill
yeah,
up.
no kidding.
Fill-up numbers are sure going up pretty fast.
I guess I'm not too concerned about it myself.
Yeah.
It's gonna be around forever and you're gonna have to
Deal
learn to live
with
with it.
Yep.
So,
Kinda hope I get it so I don't get it again.
Well, they're not even sure on that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anybody. They haven't decided yet whether once you get it, you know, like it, just
So
like.
you can have it reoccurring.
Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't completely decided on how you catch it or anything.
No. How to treat it.
Yeah.
I think they've been telling, my brother and sister-in-law, they 190 days, but like, they get it again.
They said they had cases of people getting it twice.
So I even know,
So are we good with
this,
Good with this?
this kid, whatever, had it, was around his folks. And, you know, they didn't know it the first day or two, whatever, and they never got it. So why didn't it spread again? Are you sure?
And then the vaccination, if you're vaccinated, is it gonna be like polio, where you get vaccinated and then you're not gonna get it, you know, you're not gonna have to be vaccinated?
It's a virus. You can't,
Yeah,
make
right. So I
a
mean,
vaccine for it.
No.
if it follows.
Then you be antibodies.
But they said it's mutating, so it's gonna probably be like.
Well, what,
The one I don't understand too, if you thought you had it but you weren't real sick, why would you go to the doctor? You know, they're pat you on the head and send you home.
There's probably no better place to catch it than there. If you didn't
Well,
have it.
Okay, well, appreciate getting that out.
They were saying that Trump, that when he got it, the virus quarantined itself, so they decided to do a DNA on him, and that his DNA showed up as USA.
Yeah, I don't know, like I think Bennett County, they used their COVID money and bought laptop computers. That way if somebody got sick, they could send them home with them to work. So, there's lots of different options, I guess.
What, that's what our two are doing at home.
Yeah.
Carla, was number 13, was that Heidi?
It was actually good timing for Katrina, she's trying to study anyway. I don't know how you
What are we
study
down
that
to?
going on.
Jerry?
Oh, my, yeah.
Like I said, this is starting to get me ahead.
Now where are we at now, guys?
Just Jerry.
All the way to highway department?
Went out, checked out your Emerson Road project out there yesterday. It looked nice. They gonna put some gravel on that?
Well, I told him unless it rains, get waste time. He said, well, that's not new for us, we've been driving on dirt forever.
It's gonna be a little bit rougher the next time it rains.
The rain packet, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, if we, yeah,
There's not much powder there.
Yeah.
You know what's gonna happen the first 2-inch rain you get.
Didn't go
That
down
much
to
ruts.
moisture.
Oh, man.
that's what I figured. I said, that's gonna be worse if we, cause they'll have ruts all the way down that thing running there. But it looks nice.
They hadn't
Nice
got
stuff.
one of them, whether they go cross country, I guess, anyway. And there wasn't much for us, so.
Kind of where you made that approach, where right at the
Yeah.
buildings there, they got a place to go eat west.
Somewhere.
I seen kind of a trail going on there to the west yesterday when I drove in there. But it looks good. Got a nice slope on it. They're really only gonna have one real problem, is right when they turn the corner and go north again where that hill is, but
Can't do much there, Nick's in the way.
There's a 6-inch water line that goes right there.
but I mean that.
You can't take too much more off of it.
Yeah, it wouldn't do much good taking anymore anyway.
Yeah. But that's the only spot that they'll look like they'll have any trouble with
It wasn't
drifting
there,
in.
it never was nothing like that going west there.
been
It
so
looked
long
good.
since I've been down there, not got closed, going across from there to the Plum Creek School. Was there a bridge right close to his house?
Yep.
Is that defunct or is it still there?
It's gone.
They put a pipe in?
Low water crossing.
Yeah.
And they just finished graveling on St. Almonds Road.
Good.
Good.
Stanley County's up there working on it, but they didn't do much. Took the edges in and couldn't cover it. He said he'd do exactly what we did. Yeah. So,
Good.
still gonna have a problem.
But it's not our problem now, right?
No. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
They done some work on Terry Hans Road too, because they haven't been blading that. Several loads of gravel on still mud holes. So I don't know what to say there.
Terry Hans Road,
Yeah.
which one? Is that one we're supposed to be taking care of?
No, Stanley County. It's south of.
Is that the old Briggs place or?
Suppose it'd do any,
Okay.
suppose it'd do any good to tell Terry that Stanley's on that agreement?
I think he knows.
No.
I thought we had something here from Stanley County.
No, we did. I think it's their 5-year plan.
I'm getting
Oh,
kind of tired
yeah.
of taking care of their roads and they don't do nothing for us.
Well, in snow, you know, that, shit, if you don't do it, it ain't done.
And that Lone Tree Road is one of the worst roads we got. They move the snow off it, down. But, then them people can't get out. Yeah.
Call the county commission. I don't know, it may end up where you have to just do your own.
That's kind of what I'm
If they're
thinking.
not gonna plow their roads, that's,
And they don't necessarily, they don't play it either. They do, going into past the schoolhouse there. But not always, they go to kind of land and turn around too. I don't know.
never did get a hold of anybody to have a chat with them about it.
His blade hand come. And they were putting color in, I was up there yesterday. Says, this what you're gonna do? Well, I guess so. I said, that ain't what he told me, he was gonna do the same thing I did.
Well, maybe we should suggest that if we have to plow, there's, snow and on your roads, that we just send them a bill for plowing.
Clint's been doing
Maybe
it.
they
He
want
does
to
a-
agree to
He does a
that.
good job, but he's kinda tired of doing it every day.
Yeah.
How'd he react to the gravel you were putting down?
Little
Did it look all right?
bit, pretty rough.
Rocks?
Yeah.
Is he throwing them off or?
Some, was up there yesterday and he really run out that was not like that.
How deep did you put it?
Oh, 4 inches, 4 back.
That's all?
I don't know,
Yeah,
but we raised the road, but, dude,
bet he appreciated that. So will it blow off?
our end will. Their end will.
Yeah.
Did you, did he load the gravel for you too, or did you load your own gravel?
Then we put a new culvert in it and we put 5 of them on Emerson's, I think.
Jeez.
And we put a new one today on the Lone Tree Road. Bad spot, you know where that is, right there west of Lawrence's, you probably do too.
Oh, on, Teeny Road, you mean?
13 year old, yeah, they say. Lone
You
Tree.
said Lone Tree, yeah.
Teeny.
Yeah, I know what you mean though. I was gonna ask, does, you guys talked one time about doing something on Nelson's over on 11 Mile. something about changing something into his, you guys remember that? Wasn't it one of the Nelsons about changing the way they go into their,
That's the one we just did.
That's
That's
a-
road in Emerson.
that's the one, okay, I was thinking that's what you were talking about, same thing.
Instead of moving it.
I just like it was Nelson's,
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's Jerry Nelson's daughter.
yeah, okay.
I can't remember his name.
Merritt Carpenter.
Yeah.
Okay. It took 5 culverts, so.
There's 12, 13 of them now.
Jeez.
Mile and a half.
A lot of culverts.
I've been
Wow.
down it, but I didn't quite think there's that many.
A lot of little dips.
Jeepers.
Some of them been replaced, the rest of them are 10 foot, 15 foot too short. This spring, we took backhoe up there. A bunch of them were buried. Like the county buried them, pulling shoulders. Dug them out, water had run over in about 6 places. And they were all shot.
There's one on that dirt road, well, you know where the old Lincoln School was? Up on top there by Marvin Coleman's, there used to be a schoolhouse up there. Anyway, that dirt road there, you go down that about a quarter of a mile east, and there's a water hole on the north side. And I think Carolyn and Mark have had a hose over that road for 2 years. I think that culvert's.
Where's it at in Coleman's?
It's that dirt road that goes back past Bill Slavick's.
Oh.
And I think the hose is still laying over the road. It looks like to me it looks like a fire hose. They just siphon water out of it so it quits running over the road.
Kinda wanted to shake that up this fall.
Yeah, I don't know, them dirt roads really took a hit this year.
Yeah, and it's
Seems like.
that one and that one that goes up towards Dan Nelson's. I don't think I've been waited for 10 years.
Crushing gravel up there.
Up the dams.
No, not quite. Wilsey's. 70,000 ton.
Pretty big pile.
Could take a little off the backside,
Like I said, it had quite a bit of clay in it.
Going into that Emerson place you've never seen where I cut that bank off. For 300 yards there. Took about 3 foot off of it. You didn't quite get to the top of her? What's that? You didn't get to the top of that hill? Water line's back there too. Telephone line. Well, that made a heck of a difference. Looked like I raised that road 8 feet on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A couple feet.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get a nice rain on that where a guy could get a packer out on it and get some gravel worked into it. It's got a pretty good binder in, you know, the grass and stuff that's in there. If a guy get it when it's not have too much traffic where you're tearing up a bunch of ruts into it. Yeah, it's a nice road.
Even when Mark lived there, that was kind of terrible in the right weather. Snow didn't help. Mark lived there? Mark Emerson. Oh. Yeah, I passed on that road several times, it was buggering. Yeah.
Who was the last one that lived there before this guy lives there now?
Oh, Mike lived there for a while now.
Mike?
That was when the house was there. Then they moved the house out of there. That was quite a few years. I think his kids are next one that lived there, ain't he? Did Travis live over there in a while or not?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Probably right. They built a new house in there. Nice spot. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to drive up there and look at it. I haven't driven up there to look at your new road yet.
Had some good comments on the Hill and Road.
Good.
It really packed in hard.
Fixed the soft spots too, didn't it?
It did.
That Royer Road gonna need gravel now?
Some of it,
Damn, that's dirt, a lot of dirt.
and part of it's still dirt. Kind of the middle of it is still dirt.
I think there's roads that need it before it does probably.
Huh?
I think there's roads that need it before it does.
Yeah. It's kind of a fair weather road anyway.
Yeah. They got good gravel down past, past their pump station, and got pretty good gravel coming up from the other side till you get about to the Royer place, and then it kind of quits right there.
Yeah, I don't remember that being gravel after that.
No, it's good from there.
I laid gravel on the first year I worked for the county.
Oh, north of the Royer house?
I'm gonna live there.
Really?
Yeah.
That blows in the snow.
Do you remember what year the county put that road in there by, by Van Tassel's and connected it over there and that?
Well, I remember they did it, I liked it.
Yeah, that's been a long.
5 or 6 in there.
Sounds right.
85, and they
After-
that's the
after
original
that big
gravel, I
snow,
think, isn't
wasn't it? I mean, they couldn't
That's
use
original
that
gravel,
forever.
isn't it?
Yeah, that, where it used to go down.
That sucker's in nice shape still.
So, you've got
That's
the
got a lot of
memory.
traffic on it.
The blizzard, was it 86, 7? Or when you got a,
Did they?
5 and 6.
because that road was so deep, they just,
God, that's a nice
they
road.
abandoned it for the
83,
snow.
83 and 84 and 85 and 86.
And then going to Walters, geez, that cut the miles off for me.
Oh yeah, God.
But
That was the worst road in that before the old one was the worst one I've ever been on.
That was a better winter.
especially going east and west on the south end.
Well,
I know the
down
easement
there
says
on
we
the
have to take
corner
care of the
there,
cattle
too.
gates.
Hmm?
Is that how the easement says we have to take care of the cattle gates?
Yeah.
That's why I knew it was 85-ish.
It was a nice move, I'll tell you, moving it up on top. I don't think it's ever blowed in up there hardly.
What's that?
Man, that's a nice road.
They need some gravel.
Has that ever been re-gravelled since they built it?
Yeah, they did. I don't, the north end.
Oh, that's right. From that last cattle guard north.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
I'd like to pull the shoulders on there and stuff, or a guy puts in on it, but no time. And north of Watoma too. It's not too good anymore.
I wonder how much traffic that'll get when the pipeline goes through that Ottumwa Road. Isn't all that pipe gonna have to go through there? Or do you think they'll take it down the actual ditch?
They'll go down the pipeline.
Yep.
But that's, they can't, not supposed to travel that.
They'll go down the pipeline from the pipe yard.
If it stays dry, huh? If it don't, what do they do?
Well, I think it's only supposed to be light vehicles only.
Huh?
I think it's only supposed to be only light vehicles only on the other roads.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, how about this road out here they were hauling all the gravel on? Did they ever redo that? Weren't they supposed to when they got through hauling gravels?
No,
Weren't they supposed to gravel
I
it?
don't think
Clean
so.
it up?
There's never anything said.
No, on Hilltop Drive?
Yeah.
They dumped some right up there at Tyler and that was blazing. You got one of them guys dumped a couple loads there.
By whose?
Oh, right there at Highway.
Oh, right.
But they had that beat to nothing.
I had, somebody from out there asked me the other day if he thought they were supposed to do something with that when they,
We don't have all of our agreements.
oh, he didn't, huh?
Never have had. We should probably.
Yeah, I think in
Look
the
at all the
future.
traffic going in and out of there
But who do you have it with?
Yeah.
What's that?
Right. That's
Who do you got it
Have
with?
it with? There's
You got the
1,500
pipeline.
people hauling on it.
every time
for, you'd have to do it
I
with
talk to
everyone.
Ramsey, he kind of points different directions, and
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
should've just.
Or have them all bonded, so they pay us to do it. They're gonna tear up the road.
I had one of them truckers for Morris. I heard several different people say I was a complete idiot for pulling the shoulders up on that. I ruined that.
Fixed it.
Even if they're bonded, how do you prove which one ruined it?
But I mean, just have them all pay so much for usage of it.
That's what counties do at one.
They're gonna be going gravel out of there, just charge them $5,000 or $10,000 and all out. But
Morris probably held most out of there.
Yeah.
That must have been 150,000 ton of it. They hauled it out of there fast too.
Where did it all go?
I'm not sure, I think it went south
Interstate?
Philip somewhere.
Interstate?
I don't know.
I don't know, but they've been working on that quite a bit.
I couldn't believe how fast they hauled it out of there.
So I don't really keep that close tabs. Has their piles shrunk or not?
Oh, yeah, that pile there is gone.
Jeez.
There's some other ones that shrunk a lot, another pile disappeared there. And others are shrunk a lot. We haven't touched ours yet, we've been hauling over the old pile.
It's not washboarding up real bad.
No, they
I
don't
mean,
get too rough,
guy-
really, do
If guy did put a bunch of gravel on it, you'd have washboards like
Yeah.
crazy and have a mess. So
they?
I mean, but when it rains, it gets snotty. But I mean, what do you? Can't pave it.
And the chloride didn't work too good.
They didn't put it on right.
It just started to work out of that 11-mile road.
Was it?
Still bugger to maintain. It's wet, you can't blade it.
Right.
An hour later, you can't cut it.
Yeah. Hmm.
You got to deal with it, you're not supposed to have to blade it once a year.
That don't work.
Yeah. When
So Steve, they have nothing in that yard anymore, right?
At Ramona's?
a lot of weeds.
Yeah.
There was,
Nothing there.
there was a bunch of vehicles sitting in there a while back. and
I don't know, there's an eagle over there in that tree, somebody needs to go cut that tree down. And then they could use it.
Is that why they couldn't?
Mhm.
Wow.
The eagle nesting in that tree, that big cottonwood. And over there on Tornado Ranch Road, I think, or one of them. That's why they can't use that pipe yard. Yep.
What would that do to the eagle?
Disturbing, I guess.
When I was working for Lake San Grill, was Christian down by Weston Springs. There was a cottonwood tree in the railroad right away. It was half a mile from our pit. They made us shut down. Train didn't bother him, but we might disturb him.
Yeah.
Get back to work.
Yeah, I don't, that's what they told me anyway, that's why it's.
Jesus. That's crazy.
Another road that ain't too good a shape is off the 11-mile road right there west of Ramona Buckles. It goes to, Dan Nelson's daughter lives there. I can't think of her name either.
Anna,
Anna.
Chris Paulson Road.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sign this start ranching, final contract.
What,
If you can read that.
how much is that one for? Does it have a specified amount we can do there at Ramsey?
20,000 tons.
20,000?
You could have put on 3 some. But all of them are like 3,000 over. Well, I'll put up more than that. 27,000 or 28,000, something like that. Ramses cleaned their pile out of there so they could trip there.
Sure hold a lot of material out of there.
Like that.
Me too.
How many times you guys come out of there just in the last 2 years?
Oh, a lot.
What's your plan here, like, next couple days?
Gravel,
We're at,
everything back down in Dusty Ridge. You know what there? 3 days old place was that mile. Another half mile south of you there. Everything get done while I was gone. One day things is there.
Wondered about that one, yeah.
make sure. you
Where they
get
pulled
the
that up really big.
Huh?
Where they pulled that up really big a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then, I'd like to haul some into Chukas too.
Who?
Where?
Chukas up there by Jerry Nelson's.
Oh, Fortune,
Oh.
across from Bud Hanson's.
Is anybody living out there?
I don't know.
Miles.
Yeah,
Is there?
Chuka.
Miles.
Daughter. Casey's daughter.
I haven't seen them in a long time.
That would, I'm sure there probably is county road in.
Sure goes in there on the section line. Oh, part of it,
Well, I think there was an angle through there.
yeah. It's quite a ways over there.
No, less than a mile.
Oh, is it? I must have been walking.
Because then you turn the corner and go across that dam.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
And then we'll haul some out here on the Oak Creek Road.
Any new applicants?
Oh, I didn't know if you were gonna tell.
Oh, yeah, Dwayne think he resigned.
Oh, really?
I knew he was gonna retire in October. It was about sure.
He wanted to beat you out, huh? Beat you out the door.
He gave me a try, he gave me a long enough try, I guess.
So we're gonna need to find somebody over there to do it.
I'm gonna have Otis Funk take it over.
where does he?
Yeah, where does he live?
Well, down in Terry, but he said he'd moved to Midland. So,
Cheaper for him too.
yeah, their daughter, his girlfriend's daughter's staying at Schofield doing school over there.
Hope they can find housing.
Yeah. Apartment, I suppose.
Your room at the hotel?
Yeah, I think Johnson's have a room in their apartment now, I think.
Anybody living in Jerry's house?
Yeah.
In it?
Yeah.
This sold that.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
The water rights too?
Lil's daughter and her husband bought it.
Tell you about going over there? Then we better get going here. But anyway, fixed that hillside, you know, and then the city put rocks in and Jerry was hot, so a couple of us went over there and looked at it and drove down the alley and geez, it looked pretty good, but he kinda plowed the berm up or did something there.
Oh, yeah, he took probably his old.
But then we drove around to the front of that house and shit, everything was too low. I think like somebody stated to me, he picked the lowest part of the ground, that's where he started his house.
Well, and then they dug the north side of his basement up and put a rock in there.
Well, and he wasn't just right, but he was still upset, you know, when it was drier, but he was still getting water, and I didn't say one word about groundwater, you know, but it wasn't perfect. Yeah. Well, yeah, here we go.
I was wondering if you guys would wanna, get rid of that conveyor. Surplus it.
That, was it still out here? Yeah.
Been sitting there for 30+ years. No, it's off the shop.
That's what they used to use on there when they crushed or
Yeah, we just
dug, you just screened it.
It used to sit out at Hannerhan's forever. Is that where it was? Then they brought it down here.
Yeah, I don't know when they got it down there.
It's the last. Since I've been on the board, 10 years probably.
Yeah, it don't matter to me.
Would a guy have to put it on an auction and seal bids, or what would you do with that? I know that
Suppose.
other people mentioned stuff about it.
Put it on, not, yeah, either way. Gotta do it one way or the other.
Do like sealed bids.
Is there anything else needs to go with it?
Those pickups,
Huh?
there's some pickups sitting out there. Not good.
3-4?
Is the sale barn gonna do their sale
I
anymore?
don't
or-
know, I'm not even sitting there going around. There's a couple that do, kinda, I guess. Been sitting there for 3 or 4 years.
Be worth it taking inventory of what you think could go with, we do that with the,
We got 3 taxes. Well, once in a while, we use one of them. Go in there. But the road there, it's kind of rough.
here. Can you put them on, please?
But you guys can think about it. I did on it.
Yeah, we can, seal bids or auction, it don't matter. Seal bids might be just the same, easy. Then you wouldn't have to, maybe easier, I guess.
They don't have that sale barn auction every year anymore.
I don't think they do, they didn't have it last year anyway. That I remember.
Remember when they did have the last one. Other than that, that's all I got, I guess. So you guys have something?
No, I don't.
Alright, see you
We'll
guys
see you.
next month.
Jerry?
Yep, we'll see you.
Thanks, Jerry.
Jerry? Keep Val in line.
I think we could have